Super Typhoon Bavi just rolled through the Marianas Islands, and according to meteorologists, it's going to take sort of a right turn and head north and sort of bypass the Philippines. That's what I'm going to talk about on this live stream. Let me click some technical pieces here. Okay, it looks like I'm live on Instagram. Am I live on these other platforms? Let me make my rounds here. So if you're just joining me, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the Super Typhoon. And right up front, my disclaimer: I am not a meteorologist. I'm not a weatherman. Believe it or not, don't let the uniform fool you. So don't base your safety planning and your typhoon emergency preparedness plan off of my weather report. I just told you, I'm not a meteorologist. Okay, let me go to your comments here and make sure you can hear me. All right, how is the audio? That'll be the first question. I'm using a new microphone, not a new microphone. I'm using this old microphone because there's so much background noise between roosters crowing, dogs barking, my kids in the background. This microphone rejects all of the noise, so I'm trying to get it dialed in where all the background noise is not so prominent. All right, so I'll wait for a report on the audio before we go forward and talk about Super Typhoon Bavi. Okay, looks like I'm live on Twitch. Okay, that looks good. Facebook, I'm live on Instagram, and obviously we're good to go on YouTube. Let's see. Hey, Angie, how you doing? Audio sounds great. All right, well, thank you very much. Let's see. Got Manuel, how are you? Bobby Martin. Let's see, Dan checking in from Calgary. Mac, how you doing? Jerry checking in from Arkansas. We got Rokon out in Montana. Coral Sea in Jacksonville. Rams G. Let's see, Jasper, how are you? San Antonio on station, and good morning to Australian guy checking in from Australia. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just put a graphic up on the screen here to set the tone. That's what we're looking at right there, and that's coming off of windy.com. As you can see, it's the northern Marianas Islands. It's already rolled through there. I think it rolled right over the top of Rota. You got Guam, Rota, Saipan. And we'll put some tracks up there. Let's see, get my right mouse here. I mean, I got so many things going on here. So that's the track off of Windy. That's looking at it from AccuWeather. Let's go to Zoom Earth, and there you'll see one of the projected tracks. And I'll keep saying this, my disclaimer: I'm not a weatherman, I'm not a meteorologist, okay, but I can read and I can see exactly what the public is seeing, and talk about what I'm going to do for my own emergency preparedness should the thing not take a right turn and head north towards the northern part of Taiwan, the southern Japanese islands. It's not too far from here, but everybody is banking on it taking that right turn. And all the computer models, I guess, the AI. Okay, this is, what is this? Panahan.gov.ph. There's their track. Again, putting the eye well north of northern Luzon, but obviously this thing is a huge storm. And that is from Pagasa. Let me see if I can refresh the screen here. Okay, there you go right there. So that's the refresh screen of Pagasa. And then this is the latest advisory from Pagasa, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, called Pagasa, if I pronounced that right. They put these alerts out. I believe they're putting them out every day at 11 o'clock. So this is from yesterday. It's 9 a.m. local time here in the Philippines. But there you go. Super Typhoon Bavi slightly accelerates as it continues to move west-northwestward. 1,950 kilometers east of southeastern Luzon. Again, this is almost 24 hours ago. This is 22 hours ago. So probably during the stream they'll issue a new bulletin. So there you go right there. But again, if you're just joining me, that's what we're looking at right there. Okay, I'll go back to your comments here. Keep up with the comments and see what everybody else is saying about it. Let's see, Darren checking in from Singapore. Yeah, I could be a weather forecaster. But again, I'm not a professional meteorologist. I just play one here on YouTube. Don't let the uniform fool you. Sling Blade checking in from South Carolina. How are you? Alabaster Smidge up in Northern California. Okay, Jasper. Okay, Jasper, thank you very much. Checking in from Saipan. Just left his island. Oh, but I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, I thought you were giving us a on-the-ground report from Saipan. Hope everybody in your family is okay over there. And as far as I heard, the reports, obviously a lot of damage, but no casualties over there. I don't know. That's just the last report that I heard. The Mighty P-Man checking in from Kentucky. Leroy checking in from the UK. Okay, boom, Road Trek Ralph coming off the top ropes of the octagon. Now let me add that to the broadcast and let me see if it goes to the right place, because I don't know, old single dad done messed that one up. Let me make some adjustments. I changed up a couple things, because I'm to go in there and click that text box shrink. Y'all give me just a minute here. Okay, there we go right there. I think that looks a little bit better. I made some changes to the studio. Alright, I'll try to see how it comes up next time. I made some changes to the studio. Everybody said they didn't like the black background with my little foam panels up there. Somebody said it reminded them of a garage. So I took that down, made some changes. And this is what we got right here. Okay. Yeah, I need to stock up on beer. Greg checking in from Orlando. So bear with me. Let me try this one more time. See if this looks any better. Okay, hold on. It needs to be a little bit wider. Sitting here fixing my studio on the go. But hey, in this game, the best way to do things is to just hit the publish button, go live, and you work it out on the fly. That's just the way I do things. So I'm still trying to figure this out. All right, well, thank you very much, my friend. Yeah, I could have my old lady do the weather report. She would. She'd be a good weather girl. Put a green screen up with the map. Let's see, Heath, how you doing? Checking in from Indiana. Okay, so I do have. Now look, as I said, I'm not a weatherman. I'm not a weatherman. Don't let the uniform fool you. But I do have a set of eyes, and I do have a camera. I actually have two cameras set up facing different directions. So once the storm rolls in, I expect us to get some wind and rain on the southern side of it. If it does take that right turn as the path projects, we should probably get some wind and rain, right, on the backside. Let me put it back up there. Deductive reasoning says that up here in Luzon, we're going to get some wind and rain. So I'm going to set a couple cameras up like I've done before, and I'll show you current weather conditions here from my scientific instruments. Okay, there you go right there. You can tell that the winds are calm, probably maybe 1 mile per hour, and all is well. Trike driver going by. Weather conditions are absolutely wonderful here. Absolutely wonderful. Just a sunny, warm, sunny day. It was cool last night. You can't ask for better weather conditions here overlooking Subic Bay. So that's the only thing I can report for a fact is current weather conditions where I'm sitting, where I'm located. And right now it's absolutely gorgeous. And, you know, without this technology, let's see, let me put my cursor there. We're sitting somewhere about right there. There's Manila. Sitting about right there where the cursor is. It's absolutely gorgeous weather here right now. You would have no idea that there's this big monster storm to our east headed this way. Now, I guess here's the question, you know, how much faith do we put in these computer models? Because I've done a couple live streams like this where, I don't remember the name of the last typhoon, but we live streamed for like 12 hours, 6 hours, whatever it was, watching that track come right over my head. And if you were just sitting there watching that previous typhoon, you would think that we were getting wiped out. It barely sprinkled. We had like 2 wind gusts. I mean, it was very deceptive watching the radar and watching the satellite versus where I was sitting. You know, and I wasn't making it up. I was showing you all the trees at the same standpoint when that thing was over our head. Again, if you just looked at the satellite, you would think it was wreaking havoc, and it wasn't. So, all right, boom! Speculate like Ron Burgundy. Speculate, Ron. Now, see, that one came in there too small. Thank you very much, Sling Blade. Let me try to make this thing a little bit bigger here. And again, folks, I changed up my studio and I changed up some graphics, so I'm just having to get this thing working here properly. Maybe if I go up like that, it'll get a little bit bigger. And you know, that's what I do here. But that's what most of the news is speculation, right? Because here's the thing. All right, let me try that one more time. Oh, it needs to go over to the left a little bit. Right there. That's centered. That's on center right there. Okay. The computer models, they're just computer models, right? Would I trust my life based on a computer model? No. So I think we should all err on the side of caution, on the side of safety. Okay, I got a huge storm over to my east, and it's coming in a westerly direction. Do I trust a computer to guarantee that that thing's going to take a turn and go up towards Taipei? No, I do not. I just don't. You know, two things. You probably shouldn't trust with your life, and that's the government and the weatherman, because that storm is going to do what that storm wants to do in the end, right? But there we go. That's the track. Putting it, just taking that right turn, and then at least the eye of the storm not impacting the Philippines. But we'll see. We'll see. Like the past streams, and what was cool about doing those long streams is that we experienced it real time, saw the reporting, the warnings, the radar, the satellite, and the last one was absolutely a big nothing burger, as my friend calls it. But the one time you let your guard down, that's when you get burned. So let's see. Go back over here, back to your comments. Scroll back up here. So it looks like most folks are watching from YouTube. Okay, so Jasper's watching on Instagram. Thank you very much. Trying to see if I got anybody on Twitch. It's pretty cool. The software lets you comment, from whatever platform you're watching on, and then it puts a little graphic up there. So it shows me when you comment what platform you're on. Old technology. Man, I'm so amazed with Twitch. It's just like perfect video quality. I want to thank you if you're watching me on Twitch. I got 15 followers now. Somebody told me that Twitch was basically a gaming streaming platform. I don't know. I don't play games anymore. I don't have time to play video games. But if you're joining me from Twitch, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate you. Okay. Yeah, I'm up on Twitch, believe it or not. Shout out to my buddy. Thanks for punking me out and telling me to get plugged into these other platforms. Again, I'm still trying to get up on Twitter. But Elon Musk wants some money. You got to pay Twitter some money to be able to live stream. I find that a little bit unreasonable. Nah, they got to make money somehow. So I got to sit down, go back to the drawing board, and pay Elon Musk a little bit of money, and then I'll be up on Twitter. I just haven't sat down and cracked that nut yet. Boom! Road Trek Ralph coming off the top ropes. All right, let's see. There you go. That's looking better. I remember Typhoon Ruby in 1989, San Miguel. I've been through, I say I'm not a weatherman, but I've been through a lot of hurricanes in my years, living down in Houston, living down in southern Florida. I've been through a lot of hurricanes. I've been through typhoons here. Seen the damage, seen the effects. You should never let your guard down. If you don't take away anything from these live streams that I do, always have a plan. Always be prepared that the thing is not going to go where the computer says it's going to go. They talk about these AI generated models. Again, AI is just today's branding of a computer program. Now, I listened to the meteorologists. They did say that I guess because of what's going on down here with the Habagat, if I say that right, whatever, and the pressure, that they're pretty certain it's going to push it north. Okay, they're pretty certain of that. And listening to their reasoning, all right, makes sense. But in the same sense, what are we going to do here? What are our typhoon emergency preparedness plans? As I said last time, we don't really do anything too special because we're already prepared. Living over here between the earthquakes, the typhoons, we got volcanoes, you got flooding. You got to be prepared to ride things out at any given moment. So just being Captain Obvious here, Our drinking water, you got to buy filtered water. Comes in them like 5-gallon blue looking jugs. It's not exactly 5 gallons, or is it? Anyhow, you see the typhoon coming, obviously go fill up all your water jugs. That's being Captain Obvious, but don't be lazy about it. Because if the electricity goes out, a lot of times what? The water goes out. Then the water pumps go out. Then the water stations can't work with filtered water. So it's not rocket science to say, obviously stock up on your drinking water. But if you're not thinking that far ahead, I got a water station right down the street from me, it ain't no big deal. Well, if they ain't got no electricity, ain't gonna be no filtered water. So step one, make sure you got plenty of drinking water. Okay, back to your comments here. Now, no printable checklist. I could make up a checklist. Back in the day when I was drinking, the main thing on the checklist was stock up on beer. We were always good on everything else. But you got to make sure you stocked up on beer, liquor, if you're a drinker. That's the give and tell. Okay, the motorbike. Some of y'all just saw the new ride right there. The new bug out vehicle. If you haven't seen it, let me put it up on the screen there. There you go. There's the handlebars to that machine. Obviously, what you want to do is top off any forms of transportation that you might have. Another given. Another statement by Captain Obvious. But I'll throw that out there. So pretty simple. Top off the water. Top off the tank. And get ready to ride it out. Now, my experiences living up here on Luzon, from Angeles City to Subic Bay, it just rains. You know what I mean? It just rains. You're gonna have some rain and some winds. It doesn't do a lot of catastrophic damage like it does in other areas. I better knock on wood. Look at there. Got a wood table, brand new wood table from Johnny's Bamboo Shop in Subic Town. Shout out to Johnny and his beautiful wife Jelly. Enjoying the new bamboo furniture. It's working well here in my studio. So here, like I said, knock on wood, we don't need to hunker down and prepare as much as they do down in Cebu, Leyte, Samar, places over there that are going to take the first hit from the storm. You need to do a lot more preparing if you live down in those areas, versus living in, say, Angeles City or over here on Subic Bay. And again, that's my personal opinion, but it's science, right? If I were living down in her village, I'd be doing a lot more prep work. Getting ready for some damage. Okay, back over to your comments here. And if you're just joining me, folks, I'm just talking about the fact that right here, Super Typhoon Bavi, it just rolled through the northern Marianas Islands. And I think Rhoda took a direct hit. All the models have it tracking north, at least the eye of the storm, tracking north of Luzon and hitting the northern portion of Taiwan or the southern Japanese islands. Now, obviously, it's a big storm from north to south, so we're going to get some rain. If I had to guess, we're going to get some rain and we're going to get some wind here on the beautiful Subic Bay. All right, we'll go back to your comments here. See, Chris, how you doing? Social media, Intrepid, how are you? See, Rokon again checking in from Montana. Okay, Mike, I hope the weather is decent enough. The 25th of this month, I can fly into Manila. And that's another reason I like doing these shows. Back in the day, I never check the weather. We plan a trip at the last minute, get the ticket, throw a quick, 3-day bag together and roll. Never check the weather. I just never did. I've told the story a million times. I'll tell it again. Me and my buddy Doc Wayne rolled into Cebu City back in 2013. Gonna go up to Bantayan Island. We're in the taxi. We're gonna stay one night in Cebu City, then head up to the island. The taxi driver, small talk. Hey, where y'all going? Hey, we're going up to Bantayan Island. He said, but sir, you can't go up to Bantayan Island. Well, what are you talking about? I was just there last month. Yeah, going to Bantayan Island. He said, but sir, there's a super typhoon about to hit. We had no clue. We checked into the hotel. It started hitting that night. I think our flight was very lucky. We were probably one of the last flights coming in there. I used to drink a lot back then. I didn't pay attention to these small, minute details. So we rode out Super Typhoon Yolanda in Cebu City. Had no idea it was coming. Just don't watch the weather. So back to your question on the 25th. I was watching one weather report, and they said there is another storm forming way out there in the Pacific. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But obviously, if you're flying into the PI, it's a good practice to keep an eye on the weather, just to know whether or not your flight could be affected. Barry, how you doing? Let's see, Barry's checking in from San Bernardino, California. Hey Mark, how you doing? Yeah, make sure you got some canned goods. Albert checking in from East Texas, Piney Woods. And Angelo's asking, am I going to turn the bike into a tricycle? Probably not. I just want to keep it like the motorcycle. We can all four fit on there in an emergency situation and bug out. It's a bug out vehicle. So I'm just going to keep it like it is. Let's see. Yeah, there'll be a lot of flooding around Manila, and I'll get to some articles here. Obviously you live in a low-lying area that floods all the time. Well, get ready for it to flood again because there's a ton of rain coming. And that's one of the things. Whenever I look for a spot, I'm always concerned about the flooding. And that stems from spending some time in Houston, riding out some hurricanes and seeing people's houses, have water up to the ceiling. You're like, damn, how the hell did this happen? Well, you live too close to that creek over there. We lived in a place in Barreto where when it rained, the street turned into a river for a few hours. Then it would go down. But during those few hours, you couldn't leave the house. Let's see, JXX checking in. Saying the U.S. is getting spanked by Belgium right now, 3-1. Yeah, I love how a super typhoon is a small, minute detail. Yeah, because it's just a way of life over here. It's a way of life. How do you, I don't want to say how do you get excited about it, but this is just routine. This is routine. Every year, this region is going to get hit by multiple typhoons, 1 or 2, 3, or whatever, super typhoons. It's just a way of life. It's just the weather pattern. I guess it's no different than Tornado Alley in the U.S. If you live in Tornado Alley, that area, well, you got to assume there's going to be tornadoes every year. Well, here it's the same way. Typhoons, super typhoons, what can you do about it? There's no place to evacuate to. And well, let's talk about this. This is a huge difference of living here versus, say, living in South Florida. As you can see, the Philippines, if I say this right, is an archipelago. There's over, the number they used to use is 7107, 7,107 islands. It's creeped up. I don't know what number they're using now. It's a collection of islands. As you can see, north to south of the Philippines, you know, from the northern part up here now to the south, well, this storm would pretty much impact everywhere in the PI. So if you wanted to evacuate, well, you can, but if you're going to evacuate by vehicle, there's only so far you can go on these islands before you have to take a flight or a ferry. Think about this. So you want to evacuate, you got to do it before the ferries stop running. If you're going to evacuate your vehicle and island hop and jump to another island on a roll-on, roll-off ferry, you got to do it before the ferries get shut down. How far can you get? Unless you go early. You can take a flight, but obviously you got to go early. Where living in the States, you fill up your vehicle, keep that thing topped off. You hop in that car down in Miami and point that thing north and avoid the rush. You can just go roll up to Atlanta, get you a hotel room, and ride it out. It's a whole different way of being able to escape storms versus here in the Philippines. Option number two, most of the folks here don't have the resources, the money to bug out anywhere. They don't have the money. A lot of folks don't have cars. They got a trike. They don't got money to load everybody up and evacuate. So when in thinking in a Western American sense, hey, why doesn't everybody evacuate? Where are they going to go? They don't have the money. There's too many folks. And this is a constant where it's back-to-back storms during the typhoon season. I mean, you just can't afford to go anywhere. You hunker down and you ride it out like they always have done and always do. Let's see, Tika, how are you? Wayne checking in from Southwest Florida. Let's see, Mike, how you doing? Got a girlfriend in Cavite. Let's see, Kenny, how are you? Drive up the mountain. Yeah, you know, one thing I like about living where we're at, we're basically in the mountains overlooking Subic Bay. And, you know, everybody's got an emergency plan. Everybody's got a plan. Everybody, well, you should. We got a pretty good plan here, right? Bear with me here. It's a little complicated, but in case of tsunami, right? Because we're right here on Subic Bay. Not as probable, but possible. In case of tsunami, here's our complicated survival plan. You ready? Everybody, let's go run up the mountain. That's it. Y'all seen the videos where one of our fine viewers out there, calling the silent fish, always hits me up about making everybody climb up that old dusty trail up that mountain. Well, number one, it's exercise. Number two, it's beautiful views. The kids like to go up there and play up there in the dirt gullies. But it's also worst case scenario, if there were ever a tsunami warning, we hear tsunami horns go off or anything like that, all we got to do is run up the mountain. We're going to make it, I promise you. We're not getting taken out by a tsunami. It's that simple. We live on a little bit of elevation, so I'm not worried about flooding here. Like, again, you know, we rented a place down in Bredo where our house, I wasn't worried about it flooding, but the street did flood. It was just more really an inconvenience. You just couldn't leave the house during the torrential downpour because the current was too strong. Once it slowed down, you could walk through that water if you wanted to, but you really just waited a few hours. It was back to normal. No problem. Let's see, got Doc M checking in from Dubai. Hope you're doing well, my friend. See, Hankster, how are you? A few more comments here. Yeah, according to the models. Now look, again, folks, I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not a weatherman. But if you look at the model there, and just to be fair, let me just go ahead and alternate through the models. That's from, what is that? That's from Zoom Earth. Come back to Windy. They don't really have a track. But as you can see, it's already passed by the northern Marianas Islands. And from what I read, it went right over Rota. And if it kept the track, well, it obviously would probably go right over my head. But if I trust the computer, dang old computers. Okay, there's another look at it there. Let's go to Pagasa. This is panahan.gov.ph. I don't know, I got to this graphic from Pagasa somehow. But there's your track. Let me pull it down here a little bit lower. There's their track. And let's see, Manila right there. So we're sitting about right here. So if you go off of their track, I'm trying to move it around where get the best angle on the dangle. It's going to cut that right turn and track north of Taiwan, anywhere in that vicinity right there, if you believe the computer models. Okay, let's see. Okay, again, that's the update right there. If you go to pagasa.dost.gov.ph, that's where I'm getting all this information from. But right there. So let's just go over a couple of articles. I'll leave that graphic up there for a few minutes if you're just joining us. Let me pull up some articles here. Let's see. See what I can do here on the latest article. All right, this is from the Philippines news agency. The government is bracing for super typhoon, preemptive measures ordered. So obviously the government's making preparations in high-risk areas just in case it does impact the Philippines. This is from ABS-CBN. Wind signals possible as early as Tuesday as Super Typhoon Bavi. Man, I always mess that up. What I want to say is Ricky Bobby. I don't know why. But it's Typhoon Bavi. It's going to be called Inday once it enters the Philippines area of responsibility. Okay, so according to this article here, tropical cyclone wind signals could be raised in the northern and eastern portions of northern Luzon as early as Tuesday or Wednesday due to the approaching Super Typhoon Bavi's intensity and extent of strong winds. And again, they're quoting Pagasa in the advisory that I just read. Wind signals may be number 2 or 3, may be the highest warning to be hoisted. Again, according to this article, let's see, Bavi may re-intensify up to 215 kilometers per hour, sustained winds. And then again, we're going to call it Inday. When a storm gets into the Philippines, they give it a local name, which is a little bit confusing. I prefer that we stuck with just one name. But the international name is Bavi. and then the local name is going to be Indi. And again, it's 9:30 in the morning on Tuesday here. So probably, I guess, tonight we maybe start seeing some wind from the outer bands. And again, I'm just speculating like Ron Burgundy, but I do have a set of eyes, and I can look there on that windy app. Yep, looks like the wind's going to be here pretty soon. Okay, pretty much the news reporting the same thing. Parts of northern Luzon could be placed under wind signals as early as Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. Again, right now, you want to see current weather conditions? Okay, right there. It's an absolutely just 100% gorgeous sunny day here on Subic Bay. And I have another camera. And make sure you stay tuned, because tomorrow, the next couple days, I'll go live and I'll just point the camera. I got one camera pointing towards trees in the mountains. And of course, I got that camera pointing that direction at the goats. And so you'll be able to determine for yourself the conditions on the ground here, at least overlooking Subic Bay. Okay, let me check this article here. Everybody pretty much saying the same thing. Everybody's on the same sheet of music. It's going to maintain its strength, but it's going to take that right turn. So that's probably the simplistic explanation. Hey, what's going on with that super typhoon? Well, they say it's going to maintain its strength, but it's going to take a right turn, head north. We just going to get some wind and rain. If I had to play redneck weatherman there. Okay, back to the comments here. See Dennis checking in from Jersey. Just turned on your coverage. Wish you and your family safe with the weather report. Thank you very much. Thanks for your concern. And again, we're prepared. You know, right now it's business as usual. It's a beautiful day. We're prepared where we're at, and again, you know, when you choose places to live, you have to look at how weather impacts where you're going to live. Angeles City over on this side, you know, I've just seen rains, a little bit of street flooding, but no real devastation since I've been around these parts. Now contrast that down to 2013 when Typhoon Yolanda raked over the top of Fatima's village. There was total devastation down there. I mean, there wasn't nothing but just broken bamboo. And the biggest thing down there, man, there were so many coconut trees, palm trees that were across the road. Basically, when you got up to like in the vicinity of Bogo City, you're coming north from Cebu. Once you got to Bogo City, like the devastation began. And the problem initially was there were so many coconut trees over the roads that you couldn't move. Only way to get from point A to point B was walk, stepping over just coconut tree, coconut tree, coconut tree. You know, it was sad. I mean, the whole thing, the whole incident was obviously sad, but it was just sad at how many trees, these beautiful trees were felled by that storm. And again, that's what, in my opinion, held up all the relief efforts. Step one, you got to cut these trees up and roll them off the roadway. And not many people had chainsaws back then. Somebody told me that you had to have a permit to have a chainsaw. So nobody had a chainsaw. So step one, get some chainsaws so you can get these trees off the damn roadway where, you know, you can start getting relief goods and stuff headed up that direction. All right, back to your comments here. Let's see, let's see the Professor, how you doing? Checking in from Koreatown. Beverly, how you doing? Yeah, the high ground is best. Absolutely. So I always like to get a spot on some high ground, and if possible, be close to being able to quickly access even higher ground. Okay, looks like we may have the Quiet Fish. Thank you very much for joining us, my friend. We haven't heard from you in a while. The Quiet Fish says buy a blow-up raft just in case. Hey, that's good advice right there. Maybe I should just keep a emergency blow-up raft in the go bag on the motorbike. Let's see. I think you left a couple more comments. Scott Free, how you doing? Recommending a YouTube channel there who I believe that gentleman is a meteorologist. There's a couple of folks here on YouTube that are meteorologists that are giving scientific weather reports. I just throw the disclaimer out there that I'm not a meteorologist, I'm not a weatherman, but I am sitting here in the PI about to get rained on by this super typhoon. So if you're looking for a real weather forecast, obviously there are a couple of good channels here on YouTube that focus on the Philippines. Let's see. All right, so got a couple more comments there from Mr. Quiet Fish. Let's see. I haven't seen you on the dusty trail hike to Sore Crack Mountain lately. See, where's Fatima's washing machine? I noticed you went all out on that romantic date, spending a whole $1 on it. Well, there was a whole $1 spent, but you got one fact sort of twisted. I took her on that romantic date. There was 40 pesos spent on 2 ice cream cones. That's less than a US dollar. But Big Pumpkin paid. So actually this guy, I didn't spend anything. Big Pumpkin was out 40 pesos on that date. And I certainly appreciate it, baby. Thank you for treating me to that ice cream on our romantic date. Let's see. Grunkled J. Yeah, I am live, my friend. We are live, broadcasting live from the mountains overlooking the beautiful Subic Bay here in the Philippines. Let's see. Yeah, Beverly, living in Florida, I know all about the hurricanes. Yeah, if you live down in South Florida, you learn a lot. I rode out, what was it, 03, 02, anyhow. Somewhere back in the end, we had like 5 back-to-back. And this is the joy, I don't want to say the joy, I'd be sarcastic. You know, back then, you had if there was a hurricane warning issued or a watch, there was all these rules. But you had to put your hurricane shutters up. So, from the insurance requirements. So if there was a warning, you had to put those hurricane shutters up. And it was about a day-long task at my place where I lived. I did it by myself. And then when the hurricane passed, the homeowners association gave you so many hours to take the damn things down. Holy moly, that one summer we had like 5 hurricanes, if I recall correctly, back to back. Breaking your back, full day, putting up the hurricane shutters. And they're heavy galvanized shutters. Now look, they make automatic ones, I know, but the house we had, you had to manually put those things in there, and then they had wing nuts. They're just heavy pieces of galvanized steel. They were thick, they were heavy. So you spend a day putting those things up. Hurricane goes by. Now the homeowners association is breathing down your neck. You've got 24 or 40, maybe it was 48 hours to take the damn things down. And you're looking at the forecast and you're saying, but well, it looks like there might be another storm coming. It didn't matter. They would fine you if you didn't take the damn hurricane shutters down within the time. Boom! Sling blade coming off the top ropes. This is for Big Pumpkin to take you on another romantic date. All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. You know, had a couple hours. You know, both kids are in school. Took the old lady out to the market for some ice cream. Walking around the other day. Beautiful view of the boats. Had a great time, especially since she paid. Thank you very much, Sling Blade. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so anyhow, living down in Florida with those hurricane shutters, oh my goodness. I don't know what they do now. I guess they're probably automatic, or you just slide them in place, or a damn robot comes out and puts them up. I don't know. But guys made a lot of money. You can make a lot of money back then just riding around with a crew, and people were panicking. Oh, I got to get my hurricane shutters up, and they had to pay. And there was more people needing them installed than they had crews, so guys were charging. You could charge whatever you wanted to charge, because assumably if you didn't put them up and your house got damaged, the insurance wouldn't pay. But that's one sort of double-edged sword about living in South Florida, was the homeowners associations, how strict they were. They were just unreasonable. With the way they did things down there. Hey, your mailbox needs painting. You got 24 hours to paint it, or you get fined. I love living in South Florida, but it's the same thing living here. You had to deal with hurricanes. You had to deal with the inconvenience. Because look, as long as you boarded up your house and headed north to Atlanta, where's the risk? If you stayed, there was obviously a risk, but living down there was really not a risk if you had the funds to just put the hurricane shutters up and bug out for 2 or 3 days. No big deal. I know everybody didn't have that capability or the funds to do that. Let's see. Jay Traveler says Taiwan is in the crosshairs of the storm. Let's see. Jerry says I lived in South Carolina. Had to do hurricane prep many times. Yeah, we got hit with hurricane. I think it was it Hurricane Opal? Maybe that's way off the mark. Me and my Thai wife got caught in a hurricane over in our beach house in North Carolina. And when I say beach house, them houses right there on the beach, built on stilts. Come a good wind, the thing is swaying. It's a long story, but basically we were bugging out like everybody else on that little island. And as we were loading up the van with the last things that we were loading up, I had the van running. We were about to jump in this van and leave. Last people off the island. But in plenty of time, in enough time, I hear this boom, clank, clank, clank. Long story short, the water pump bracket and the water pump broke. It just broke and just wreaked havoc in the engine. The van was just done. And long story short, we rode out that hurricane in, we were like, I think we were three tiers back from the beach, but one of those houses on stilts, the beach houses. We rode that hurricane out in that house. And I ain't gonna lie, it was scary as hell. My old lady was scared to death. I was scared to death. It was at the point where we were gonna abandon the house and just ride it out in the van, because I was like, this thing's coming to the ground, but it didn't. It swayed. It was scary, but we rode it out. Not because that was our plan. Our plan was to get in that van and get the hell out of there. Did not plan on that thing breaking and disabling my vehicle. And at the time, I only had that one van up there, so anyhow. Don't recommend riding out a hurricane in one of them beach houses built on stilts. Don't recommend it. Okay, let's see. We'll go over and put a different graphic up on the screen. Just keep sort of switching back and forth. Again, that's from Wendy. There's another look at it. There's a track right there. And you know, when you listen to these weathermen, they're citing different models. So all the models are they're in the ballpark, but they change it up a little bit. But I think at this point, all the models that I'm seeing they're in agreement that it's going to take that right turn, head north towards Taiwan, southern part of Japan. And we're not going to get affected by the eye of the storm. We're just going to catch the tail end. All right, let's see. And somebody let me know how the audio is doing. Again, I'm using this old microphone here because there's so much background noise. The PI is so loud. Like, right now, this is the Pandy Saw guy driving by. And all the Pandy Saw guys, Pandy Saw is like a fresh baked roll. They're absolutely delicious. But they ride by with their speaker blasting on full blast, just on a loop, you know. And they ride by all the time. But anyhow, there's so much background noise between the kids, the roosters. I'm trying this microphone out right here because it rejects more of the background noise than my other microphones do. Yeah, you can always replace material belongings, right? And I'm going to put the microphone up here. So I'm getting tired of holding it. Let me scoot up here. All right, somebody tell me, is the audio still okay? Or I need to get closer to the microphone? Okay, Jordan says can't hear the background noise, just you. All right, thank you very much. And that was the intent. Because every other mic I have, it just amplifies all the background noise. This room is not sound treated. I tried to put those blocks on the wall, but I got several complaints. People didn't like them. They say, hey man, the vibe of your studio sucks. You know, it's like you're in a dungeon. It was just those black foam panels, that you see in workshops, somebody's garage floor. So I took those down, and to be honest, they really weren't doing anything to deal with the echo of the room. Okay, Mike Escape says we're just going to get the Habagat rain from the southwest. Yeah, now I'm not a big expert on exactly what I thought it was pronounced Habagat, but Habagat, if I said that right, the Hanging Habagat, I don't know about all that. All I know is when I hear that, it means a bunch of rain. So maybe that's why Speculate, Ron Burgundy, speculate. Maybe that's why this thing is gonna get pushed north, is because of the Habagat rain from the southwest. Does that make sense? Just speculate. I don't know. Okay, Scott Free says annoyingly clear. And what about the level? Okay, alright, so here we go. Streaming, I think Instagram is cutting me off here. Hold on a second. Continue without. Okay, so Instagram, old Mark Zuckerberg only gives me what, 1 hour or 2 hours? I think it's, my software says it's ending. Yeah, it looks like it stopped. So I gotta click in live video. So if you're on Instagram, I just timed out. I think they only give me 2 hours. No, only 1 hour. You know? Damn, look at that technology. I got my own timer up there. So Instagram only gives you 1 hour. I could probably pay old Mark Zuckerberg some more money, but I don't want to pay him no money. So if you just got cut off on Instagram, we're up on YouTube, Twitch, that Facebook. Let's go around the horn here. Yeah, looks like we're still doing good. I need to move this up just a little bit. Now move it over. Move the track over. Y'all want to see where it's going, not necessarily where it's been. Okay, there we go. How's that angle on the dangle? Okay, thank y'all very much. Just broke the 100 thumbs up likes button. Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate it. Okay, Master Blaster says just need noise reduction. Sounds like it's raining in the background. That could be my fan. But you know what? I gotta have that fan. I ain't got no air con, but I gotta have the fan. Maybe if I cut the fan off. Let's see, and again, Wayne reporting loud and clear, checking in from Florida. Okay, so if you're just joining me, Super Typhoon Bavi just raked over the northern Mariana Islands. The reports I heard, it hit Rota. And it's headed in a north by, so it's sort of a west by northwest direction. And again, you're looking at the model there on the screen. That's from Zoom Earth. Let me put Pagasa up there. Put some official agency graphics up there and see what they have to say about it. Let's see if I can get that a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is coming direct from the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, called Pagasa, if I pronounced that right. So that's coming straight from their meteorologist, which again clearly puts the track headed north, the eye of the storm headed north of Luzon. But again, I'm expecting just rain and wind where I'm at here. And I'm broadcasting live from the mountains overlooking the beautiful Subic Bay. So let me give you the current weather conditions. Okay, right there. Looks like it's a sunny day. Winds are calm. Maybe 0 to 1 kilometers per hour on the winds. And I got another camera angle that I'm going to shoot over towards the mountains, which you can see all kind of trees and stuff, and get another on the ground report of what's going on where I'm at. I don't know what's going on anywhere else. Why? Because I ain't there. I'm right here. My weather instruments that I use are trees, with the trees. I can tell you an approximate wind speed. If I look up and I see water coming down from the sky, I'm pretty sure that it's raining. If I look over and I see the goats and the roosters and the neighborhood dogs in my carport, it means it's coming a real good rain. I don't know why, but they like to congregate over here under my carport when it comes to good rain. So I look out there right now. Let me check well, I'm zoomed in a little bit, but if I zoomed out, I probably wouldn't see any goats underneath the carport because it's a beautiful, beautiful day here. I mean, it's one of those things. This storm, relatively speaking, is not very far away, but it's an absolutely gorgeous day here. Makes me want to go to the beach right now. Let's see, exit 61. How you doing, my friend? Let's see. Let me come on up here. May have missed some of y'all's comments. Let me scroll up. Let's see, sound and video quality 10 by 10. Thank you very much. Come on down here. Okay, Thor Request says a little compression might take the edge off. Okay, I'll have to mess with those EQ settings. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to messing with them EQ settings. None. I just sit there and listen. I pull them up and down. I don't know what they mean. I don't know what they do. I just keep messing with it till I'm like, that sounds pretty good. That's how I do it. Boom, Milky Bar. Off the top ropes of the octagon. Guy says cheater, but culture is in guy's favor. Why not dance the dance? Yet they keep coming and keep forcing their values and think girls owes them. All right, thank you very much, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And let me go over to the super chats, make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Okay, looks like put them all on the screen. So thank you again. Under the Dogwood checking in from Florida. Let's hope for a most northern track and that Luzon just gets some outer winds. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Just a little bit of rain and some wind, and this thing just goes on north of us. Now look, it's one of those situations, obviously, and I had an article pulled up somewhere. Here, let me let y'all look at me for a second while I root around, see if I can find it. It was talking about how over in China, there's a lot of flooding in this one area. Okay, so here we go right here. Put that up on the screen. Flooding kills 2 in China's Nanning as East braces for Super Typhoon Bavi. So not to read the whole thing there, but basically got some flooding going on over there. So if this thing heads up into China, it's going to make it worse for those folks right there. But it's just one of those things. We can't control Mother Nature. Mother Nature is going to do what she's going to do. You just hope that it don't hit you. Unfortunately, what does that mean? It means it's going to hit somebody else. But it's just that it's one of them things. It's cold to say, but better you than me. What can you do? You can't stop the typhoon. You just hope that, hey, just go north of us. Just don't hit here. That's just the way it is. So my thoughts and prayers go out to them folks over there. If it does head up their way, they're already flooded out, and now they're going to get hit by a ton of rain. Yeah, it's just going to be rough on them. All right, so we'll come back and put the Windy app back up there. That's where she sits right now, according to this app. And like if you went due east, maybe we're a little bit south of the eye. But if that thing were to track in a exact westerly direction, it would go just north of us, probably rake right over the top of Baguio. But again, if you're just joining us, it's not tracking directly towards the PI. That's the projected track. It's projected to go to the north, if we trust the computer models. I hope that's the case. Do I trust them? No, I don't. I don't trust them. I mean, it's not like the storm is calling the weatherman and saying, hey, I'm going to take a right turn up there. It's unpredictable. Well, meteorologists do their best based on data to project this. But I don't trust it. Did up a little bit more there. Okay, again at 11, Pagasa is supposed to issue another updated weather bulletin. So if I stay live for another hour, we'll get an updated bulletin from Pagasa. And I'll go back to your comments. Bad Boy Travel, yes. There's the trajectory that I think most of the models are in agreement with, that it's going to track north of the Philippines. And so yes, we should probably just get some wind and rain where we're at. But in the same sense, what if it doesn't track exactly where they want it to go? That's the point of it. You should have a plan, be prepared, top off the water, make sure you got a few days of food, all the Captain Obvious preparations, just in case it doesn't go where they say it's going to go. I'm hoping it goes exactly where they say it's going to go. And just keep heading north and not impact our area. Yeah, I got 116 likes. I want to thank y'all very much for hitting that like button. Smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up button, because it helps out with them old Google squirrels inside this dang old computer, turning them knobs and deciding who gets the views. Speaking of views, let me go take a look. Take a look at the YouTube. See what I look like on the YouTube. So we got 158 folks watching. I want to thank you all very much for tuning in. See, Massa Blaster says it looks like they're heating up the ocean with satellites again, just like they did here with Katrina. A lot of theories about a lot of things out there, and I won't get off topic, but if you want to research something that's interesting, just research HAARP, HAARP. What does it stand for? Is it High Altitude Oral Research Program? Anyhow, it's where they shoot microwaves up into the atmosphere. It's basically a weather manipulation device. Hopefully I don't get this video banned by saying that here on the old YouTube. Anyhow, interesting topic to research. And I think one of the interesting things about that, correct me if I'm wrong, but there were treaties signed about permanent weather manipulation even before the technology existed to do it. That's a whole nother topic. Have you ever seen the rain? Yeah, I can play that a little bit. I gotta bring my guitar over here. I keep saying that. Just a pain in the butt to fly with a guitar. You ever tried it? Pain in the butt. I just need to go out and get a new guitar so I can sit here and just do some picking and grinning every night. Alright, let's change the graphic here. Now, I'm not sure what this is. This is from panahan.gov.ph. I'm not sure what the difference. I guess I'll have to do some research on that. But that's from a government site as well here in the Philippines. And again, right, we're sitting about right there, somewhere right there if you look at my cursor. So if you went direct east, it would be just south of the eye. But again, all the models are forecasting this storm to track north of the Philippines, hit somewhere just north of Taiwan, somewhere up there north of Taipei. So as long as this holds true, again, I think we're just going to get some wind and rain. Knock on wood. Speculation and hoping. But in the same sense, prepared to, ride anything out. I talk about this a lot. Like the other night, we have regular brownouts here. Living in Angeles City, Clark, places like that. You don't deal with a lot of brownouts. You move out to the province, you deal with short brownouts. Here we're dealing with short brownouts. The not having electricity is not the big deal. The big deal is not having water. But again, if electricity goes out for an extended period of time, the water filtration stations where you go buy your filtered water, they can't filter water. The pumps aren't working. You don't got water. So in any of these storms, it's really not the electricity that's the problem. The problem is the water, but you got to have electricity to get the water flowing. So it's all hand in hand. But I just say that. I mean, long as I got plenty of drinking water to ride out for 10, 15 days, what can you do? I'm not really worried. You got some food, some water. If the power goes out, so be it. We're going to survive. We don't have an air conditioner anyhow. So it ain't like we're going to sit here and, be very impacted by the heat. We already don't have an air con. We're doing fine. Okay, H River. I have a degree in meteorology. Do you realize how much energy is involved in weather, especially a hurricane or typhoon? HARP cannot produce enough energy to affect anything. All right, well, thank you very much for the input. Again, I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know nothing about it. And Jerry says HARP's been debunked. Well, they spent a lot of money on doing something up there. And I'm sure that they're not, obviously they're not the only folks around the world messing with this stuff. So I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. I'll maintain that if you want to read some interesting stuff, you research it. So thank y'all very much for the input. Let's see, Dina, how are you? Yeah, I think we're going to be good here in the Philippines. I think we're going to be okay as long as this thing keeps tracking north. And thank you very much for your concern. Again, folks, I will fire this live stream up again tomorrow on through as we track this thing to make sure it heads north. I'll tell you what though, doing these live streams, I think I've learned more about weather than I knew at any point in my life. Just sitting here researching it, watching the radar, watching the satellite, watching all of these different graphics, all of these projections, and then sitting here comparing that to exactly where I'm sitting, watching that data. And again, the last stream we did, the data that you were seeing on the screen was absolutely not the ground conditions. It was the strangest thing. You looked at that graphic, it looked like we should have been in the middle of Hurricane Katrina and there was nothing going on. I mean, nothing. Go back and watch those last couple videos. Okay, so Bobby Martin saying it's reported that Bobby is packing maximum wind gusts up to 200 miles per hour. Yeah, never stop learning. I'll tell you, running the YouTube, you are constantly learning. Where if I were not doing what I'm doing, would I research and learn the same amount on various topics? And the answer would be no. I would have no reason to. Running this game, I learn so much on a daily basis that at the end of the day, my mind is just, it's like fried. Because of just, name the topic. Name the topic. You just start going down the rabbit hole, and at 53 years old, I'm learning something new every dang day. Plenty of other conspiracy theories have been debunked. Yeah. These days, what do you believe? What do you not believe? If the government tells you something, you know not to believe it. That's about the only constant, the only thing I know that is certain. See, Under the Dogwood says surf will be up in the PI. All right, so here's some reporting. Dennis is saying he was chatting with friends in Taiwan. They're flying to China, but their flight was delayed for 6 hours. Okay, so talk about flight delays. If you're flying into the Philippines or out of the Philippines, especially this weekend, Captain Obvious, you probably want to keep an eye on this weather to make sure that your flight's not delayed or canceled. If I were a betting man, I would say no, and the reason being is that I've flown from Thailand into Manila during so many typhoons, and it's a rough ride. It's a rough ride. I'd almost have to say some of the roughest commercial flights I've ever been on were from Bangkok to Manila because of these typhoons. Some of them they're in the process of petering out, some of them what have you, but the flight didn't get canceled. They just sort of went around that thing, and it was a rough ride. And thinking about it, a lot of flights were rough rides, are rough rides from Bangkok to Manila during this time of year. See, Richard checking in from Cambodia. Cambodia is a little wet. Massa Blasta says you should keep a stock of beer for emergencies in case your children need the water. Well, that's a good point. You should keep a stock of beer. I just read the headline of an article. They were talking about how much beer our founding fathers of the U.S. Drank back then. Anyhow, it was an interesting article. Where did they go to plan all this stuff? Down at the tavern. A lot of drinking going on back then. Nowadays, everybody ain't drinking. I think that the stat was, what is it, 53, only 53% of Americans are drinking now, which is down from like, I don't know, 75% 20 years ago. Now the good thing is, there's 53%, half of America is still drinking, but it's the lowest in like 90 years. Just another interesting topic to sit there and watch some documentaries on, and how it's affecting multiple industries. You know, they say Jim Beam shut down production for the entire 2026 year. They may go back in 2027 because there's more whiskey than there is demand. All the warehouses filling up. Where are you going to put the new stuff? The old stuff's not moving. Toriano TV checking in from San Francisco. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Let's see, termination for default. Checking in from Guam. Hope you're doing well there in Guam. If you can, give us a report. What's going on right there? Conditions on the ground in Guam. 345 Adventures checking in from the Cayman Islands. Now we're going to put my old man glasses back on. Let's go over and check some different tracks. Okay, so again, the track that you're looking at right now is, what's that from? panahan.gov.ph. And then that is from direct from Pagasa. Now let me refresh the screen here. Okay, so there's your warnings up there. Tropical cyclone advisory. Make this a little bit bigger there. That's coming straight from the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration. That's their official track, according to their website. If you're just joining us, that's what all the models are saying, that this storm is going to go north of the Philippines. Obviously, northern Luzon, Batanes, all the islands up there. We will probably get some rain, some wind out of it. But as long as it holds to the models, the eye of the storm is not going to be anywhere near the Philippines. Now look, throw my disclaimer back up there. I'm not a weatherman. I'm not a meteorologist. Don't let the uniform fool you. I'm reading open source material just like you are. Okay? With a little bit of speculation put in there. Could this thing not follow the track? Well, it's a storm. Obviously, it could not follow the computer models. It could do whatever it wants to do. Mother Nature doesn't adhere to what the computer models say. But that's the last advisory right there. There should be an update at 11. They're sending these out, well, according to the schedule, at 11 o'clock every morning. So as of yesterday, there you go. You're looking at their track. It was moving west, northwestward at 25 kilometers per hour. Okay, and there's more projections there. We do a refresh on the windy. Let's see, there we go right there. And back to your comments. Okay, that's a great idea. Hang your clothes outside. Fatima won't need a washing machine. There you go. She was out there this morning washing clothes by hand, which she always does. And I told her she could wait a little bit. I could point one of my cameras at her washing operation, but she wasn't into that. Okay, so Guam, this is per termination for default. Let's just had, what is that, T-Core 1 lifter. That's above my pay grade. Still a lot of power outage and some without water. I was just outside and there's a little breeze left and had a little bit of sprinkles. Okay, so according to termination for default, it's exiting, leaving the area of the Northern Marianas Islands, but they're left with some power outages and folks without water. Let's see, Rico Cano Brown says the booze started piling up after I quit drinking. Yeah, back to talking about how folks around the world, the U.S., are not drinking. I mean, heck, I'm one of them. 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, I quit drinking. They were interviewing this guy who, his craft beer brewery was going bankrupt. He had to shut her down. And he was a young guy, and he said, hey, what can I say? I quit drinking a couple years ago myself. You know? This is the guy who runs the craft brewery. All right, got 141 likes. Thank y'all very much for hitting that thumbs up button. It helps out with the Google squirrels. King B, how you doing, my friend? Been back in the U.S. for 9 days now. Can't wait until I can return to the Philippines. That's right. Home is where your wife and son are. Well, man, enjoy your trip in the States. Have a good time and have a safe trip back. You know, the thing about going to the States on these visits, man, it's so expensive. When you have to go back to the States for whatever reason, it just takes a huge bite out of your wallet. At least that's my personal experience. You can't stay there too long. You go broke. See, Richard says quit drinking 20 years ago. No more bracelets, no more lights. Yeah, so a lot of folks giving up drinking. Speaking of that, I quit drinking 2 years ago. That right there is leftover from when I had guests. Not for me, bought it for my guests. Had this and a can of beer. I had 2 cans of beer. Somebody drank one of them. I can't say that I'll never go back to drinking. Been 2 years. I would love to pour that Jack and Coke over some ice right now. Yeah, watching these documentaries about people drinking, not drinking anymore, one of the big things is cost. Can't go out to the bar and hang out with your buddies, drink a few beers without spending a small fortune. It's not cheap anymore. Yeah, the main thing is you got to have drinking water. As long as you got drinking water, you're good to go. That's the main thing. The main thing is drinking water. You know, and places like the Philippines, you know, you can't drink the tap water. So it's not like you just go, fill up everything you got. You got to go buy filtered water. There's a cost to it and a step to it. You just don't want to mess around and find yourself on the backside of a storm and not having enough drinking water. It's not the time to go stock up. You got to stock up way ahead of that storm. So, it's Captain Obvious, but the priority is make sure you have overkill on drinking water. Everything else is just secondary. You'll get through it. But yeah, having a stock of beer, it's a great idea. Yeah, stock up on beer. Worst case scenario, everybody can drink beer and survive. Trust me. I used to drink San Mig Light like it was a bottle of water. I don't think I drank any water during the day. I drink about 24 San Mig Lights and I was very well hydrated. When I was there in 2020 in Nashville, I ordered a Jack and Coke. It was $14 and it was about that big. And I was like, this is crazy. Me and my old man were out, bought a couple drinks. You're out $35. That was in 2020. Three drinks, you're out $100? Okay, there you go. That's why people don't drink no more. Can't afford it. Yeah, you could collect the rainwater, you can boil the water. There's other options. But the smartest and the simplest and the easiest option is to go fill up all your water jugs and to have plenty of water jugs in the first place. So yeah, we humans figure out ways to survive. But the easy route is just have overkill on the water and make sure they're filled up. Don't have 10 jugs and there's only 2 filled. Again, Captain Obvious. But that's what Big Pumpkin will do to me. She'll be like, hey, we're out of water. I'll be like, how many jugs we got left? Oh, this is the last jug and it's like that full. Oh, why didn't you tell me when we're down to 3? My perception of being out of water is, okay, we got 10 jugs, we're down to 3. We're at 30%. We're out of water. We need to go get back up to 100%. Her idea of being out of water is like 2%. Then she raises the alarm. Hey, we need to go get some more water. We're down to 2%. Yeah, definitely expensive in the U.S. One of the things when I went back there the last time is if you stopped to get gas, a small Coke in a plastic bottle was $4. Right on the money. Not $3.99. It was like $4. Maybe it was $3.99. But I'm saying it was $4 solid for a Coke. Here in the bottle, you pay $0.25. It's equivalent to a U.S. quarter for a bottle of Coke. $0.25 versus $4. How did that happen in the good old United States of America? I don't know. I could see, okay, it's $1 over there, it's $0.25 here, but not $4 versus $0.25. Something very unreasonable about that. If you're just joining me for this live Typhoon Bavi coverage, that's looking at it from, this is called Zoom Earth. That's the projected path, which most of the models that you look at are in the same agreement, that it's going to track north. It's going to go north of the Philippines. It's going to take a right turn, head up north of Taiwan, somewhere up in that region. But as you can clearly see, the size of the storm from north to south, let me pull that up a little bit more here. It's a big storm. There's the Philippines over here. So even if that thing tracks up there northern Luzon. We'll probably get some rain and some winds out of it if I had to guess. But again, I'm not a weatherman. Don't let the uniform fool you. Okay, Jerry says the PI is quite expensive for Southeast Asia. You want cheap, go to Vietnam. Me and my buddy were having that conversation the other day, talking about food prices at the grocery store in the U.S. versus here. See, I laugh. How are you? Victoria, how you doing? Okay, it's 10:35 here in the Philippines. At 11 o'clock is when Pagasa should put out their updated weather bulletin. So in about 25 minutes, we'll wait for that weather bulletin to come in. And then I'll probably go ahead and end the stream for now. But I will go live every day. I'll give you a look at conditions here overlooking Subic Bay. Are we getting any rain, any wind at all out of this super typhoon? Well, I'm going to point the camera at the trees and you can decide for yourself. I'll give you a current look. This is current conditions here, right there. Looks like we got maybe a 2 km/h breeze going on. Nice and sunny, no rain. Just a warm, beautiful, sunny day here, overlooking the mountains, or the mountains overlooking the beautiful Subic Bay. And again, I got another camera angle I'm going to get up in a second, shooting over the mountains. But the sun was coming in so strong I had to close the curtains. I got to wait till the sun comes up a little bit more, and then I'll be able to show you the mountains. So if there were to be a typhoon, I got 2 different angles. You know what I mean? Like doing weather reporting, live weather reporting, there's a couple challenges. You got to get the right angle to show something. Some trees or the beach or some waves, something. But you got to keep the camera out of the elements. And oh, by the way, you got to have electricity. You got to have the internet up. So here I've got two different angles, and I've got the cameras undercover. So even if it were to come a massive storm, I could still keep going as long as my electricity don't go out. Which obviously it probably would, but there's so many challenges to putting together these live on the ground weather reports. Let's see. So if you're joining me from Twitch, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I got 15 followers now over on Twitch. And I'm still not real sure what Twitch is or is about. People keep telling me it's a video game, like where you live stream your video game playing activities. You would make the educated guess that it's probably not where my core audience hangs out, but you know what? If you're watching me on Twitch, I want to thank you very much for watching and for, I guess it's called subscribing over there, following. But you know what? There's really great video quality on Twitch. Their platform is just got a crystal clear feed. Maybe one of these days I'll break down and play some video games. Looks like I'm still up on the Facebook. Man, them tables look absolutely wonderful right there. And Instagram shut me down after 1 hour. And then, of course, no go on Twitter because I got to pay Elon Musk some money. They want some money to be able to live stream over on Twitter. Man, Elon, ain't you got enough money already? Can a brother just live stream on Twitter without having to pay you? My goodness. Let's see. Back to the comments. Marcos Pumpkin trolling us up in here. Is Big Pumpkin up in the chat? I think that's Big Pumpkin there in the chat. There she is, yeah. I think that's the Big Pumpkin. It could be an imposter. I think that's her real account. Fatima Love. Hey, Living Blank, how you doing? Okay, in college I had to study atmospheric science and take heavy course loads in calculus, physics, and computer science. What you're looking at on the screen is not current. All right, well, thank you very much for your input. Again, you know, I'm not a meteorologist. All I can do is look at the open source materials and reporting just like anybody else. And what I was talking about a few minutes ago is that doing these live streams where I'm forced to look at these graphics and look at the reports and then compare that to where I'm at, you know, I've learned the lesson that I don't trust how the graphic looks versus what's happening on the ground. Now maybe those past couple typhoon coverage videos that I did were just anomalies. But you can go back and watch that video and it looks like the same huge storm was over the top of my head and there was nothing going on. So I don't know. All I can tell you this, I can tell you with 100% certainty the weather that's over my head right now. And I can back that up with live evidence. Right now, it's not raining. Right now, it's a sunny day with light to no wind. There you go. There's my evidence right there. It's a scientific piece of weather prediction gear. It's called a tree. And look, there's a goat in the background. You see that goat? Now you know it's not raining or coming some crazy storm because the goat would be running from my carport, taking cover. So trees, goats, you can see the grass, some bushes, and it's so bright out that the camera the highlights are blown out. That's how bright it is. It's a beautiful, warm, sunny day. That's a 100% accurate, at this particular moment, weather report. That's all I believe. Now, we go back over here to the graphics. Yeah, I have no idea if that's updated, how much lag time that is, how much of a delay. I have no idea. But I'm the general public like anybody else, and I would pretty much say that same graphic on your computer, if you pull it up, is the same graphic on broadcast. And therefore that's what we the public have to go by, right? I'll refresh this one. This is AccuWeather. Zoom in a little bit there. There's the AccuWeather. I guess you can put this in motion. Oh, look at that. Look at that technology. Put that thing in motion. All right, come over here to Zoom Earth. Let's do a refresh. Make sure I'm getting some accurate, up-to-date shots there. Again, putting the track of Super Typhoon Bavi. The eye would be just north of Taipei. Here's the island of Taiwan, just north of Taipei. Well, that's on Zoom Earth. This is panahon.gov.ph. And I got to this graphic from Pagasa. I don't know what the difference is. But that's their graphic there. And obviously you can change what you see. But that's what I got pulled up. And that's what that computer model is saying. So we'll leave that up there for a while. Well, I'll go back to your comments. Okay, so anyhow, Living Blank, thank you very much. And I guess what I've learned, and the point is that you don't put all your faith into these graphics. The weathermen are doing a very difficult job trying to predict the future, trying to predict Mother Nature, using technology, a little intuition. I don't know what they do, but I'm sure it's a difficult job. Storms don't always go where the computers say they're going to go. Why? Because they're a storm. They can't be trained. See, Maximus, how you doing? Okay, Rusty says Twitch is an antiquated streaming platform. Kick is way better. You know, I think I tried to get on that Kick one time, and was it blocked? I can't remember why I couldn't get on there. Maybe I try that again. Somebody said something about Kick. Let's see, I Laugh is asking my old lady, do you think I have a big belly? Yeah, she does for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I got a washboard stomach these days. She keeps telling me I'm chubby. Okay, Wes says other channels have gone to Kick. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I mean, this software that I got, it took me a day to sit there and pipe in multiple, to pipe in Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. Now look, some of you young bucks could have done that in about 5 minutes. It took me all day to figure it out. I had actually connected Twitter, and then it didn't work. So if there's a way to add that Kick in here as well, I'll broadcast to as many as I can. Why not? My buddy's the one who's brought that up. He had a valid point. So I'll definitely have to check it out. Yeah, Maximus says he saw a goat and a motorcycle in the foreground. Yeah, they're part of my weather forecasting instruments. If the motorbike isn't got blown over by some wind, well, it's probably pretty calm winds. The goat's back there chilling. He's not running for cover. Okay, it's calm weather. Bobby Martin, thank you very much. Hey Thomas, how you doing? Checking in from Parrish, Florida. Edwin, how we doing? Checking in from San Diego. Why am I wearing these ladies' glasses? Well, that's a good question. All right, we're doing typhoon coverage, but somebody asked me about my glasses. Because the previous glasses I had, which probably could also be described as belonging to my grandmother, broke. They broke. So I sent Big Pumpkin and Janice and crew out on a mission to get me some new glasses. And look, I can see way out there. I can still see 500 yards out. That ain't no problem. I just can't see the screen. This is what they came back with. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. They work. And the cut off shirt, man, I make this look good. Ain't no soup sandwich here. This, you see this? You see all this partner? This is an engineer. What movie's that from? What a great movie. You got all this Teen Wolf stuff going on. Look at this partner. It's all engineered. Somebody will guess that movie. David, how you doing? Just got off work. Hope you had a good shift. Boom! David Vidalis, 6'9" or 8, coming off the top ropes of the octagon. Thank you very much, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Again, hope you had a good day at work. Under the dogwood. Yeah, as long as the bullseye for the Typhoon is, where's the rally point, sir? Anywhere but here. As long as that bullseye goes anywhere but here, I'll be okay with it. Again, my thoughts and prayers, my hearts go out to wherever it goes, but just don't come here. Yeah, and again, referencing the article earlier, some areas there in China have had some severe flooding, and now if this thing comes up their way, they're going to be in for a mess. Make my rounds here on my technology. Yep, looks like we're still going. Everywhere but Instagram. So it's 10:51, so in about 10 minutes or so, we should get a new release. Maybe they've already released it. Let me go to the website here. Get the cyclone advisory, tropical cyclone advisory from Pagasa. They're releasing these advisories at 11 o'clock in the morning. Let's see, tropical cyclone. If you want to know their website, I guess I could put it on the screen, but it's pagasa.dost.gov.ph. Okay, no, it still says 11 a.m. So about 10 minutes here, we should get a new advisory from Pagasa, and we can put that up on the screen. Let's see. Hey, Leonard, how you doing? Okay, wife's family down in Mindanao. No, that's way south of here. And the weather presently here in Subic Bay, I'll give you a 100% ground truth look. There you go right there. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. I'm not sure if you can see the cows and the goats in the background, but just a light breeze. It's a beautiful day here. Absolutely gorgeous day. No problems. Unless you're looking at this graphic, you got no idea there's a big old storm to the east of us. In just a minute, I'll set the camera up pointing at the trees towards the mountain. Got two directions. But again, the sun was coming in that window. I had to close the curtains, but in just a second, I'll get up and take a break. The movie was 40 years old last week. In the West, you might be using voice, and it put the wrong thing up there. It's got the word 40 in it. Yeah, current weather here on Subic Bay, just a beautiful day. We're not being impacted at this point at all by the super typhoon. Again, I can't say what the weather is anywhere else other than where I am at. And we're right here in the mountains next to Subic Bay. It's just a beautiful day. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Took my daughter to school this morning on the motorcycle. No problem. Yesterday we had a sprinkling of rain for about 5 minutes. So all is well where we're at right now. Yes, once Super Typhoon Bavi enters the Philippine area of responsibility, it will be called Inday. And, you know, a little bit confusing, but you have the international name, and then once it comes into the PI, they give it a local name. You know, they can do whatever they want, but it is a little bit confusing for people who don't realize that's what they do. Or, you know, 5 years from now, you're trying to talk about, hey, you remember Super Typhoon Bavi? And somebody locally is thinking they never heard of it. It's Inday. I mean, they're used together, but it would be much simpler if we just used one name. But nobody asked me. Okay, so I'm gonna step up for a second and stretch my legs, and I'm gonna open up the window here. So if y'all would just bear with me for 1 minute, let me just check all the. Yeah, all right, just bear with me for a minute. So I'm gonna put my view of the mountains over there and see if there's any weather changing towards the mountains. Well, that view's towards the mountains too, but I got mountains over here too. So just stand by. Okay, folks, I'm back. And I think I've got a good angle on the dangle. I'll give you another look at current weather conditions here on in Subic Bay. There you go, right there. Let me know how that graphic looks. You got the mountains in the background. I got different varieties of trees. I've got, I think, a nice variety of wind measuring devices there. So you want to know current wind speeds here in the mountains overlooking Subic Bay. There you go. That's ground truth reporting. The trees do not need AI to tell you the wind speed. What's AI? It's just a computer program. It's today's branding for a computer program. Okay? There you go right there. Now, my curtain to the right there, I need to open it up a little bit further. But we got partly cloudy skies. Probably maybe have some showers this afternoon if I had to guess. But there you go. That's the current weather here overlooking Subic Bay. Guaranteed, because that's a live feed looking out my window. Okay? And then this is looking the other direction right there. There you go. Don't need to be a meteorologist to look out at them trees and say, wind speed about 0 to 1 kilometer per hour. Is it raining? Nope. Clouds? Yep. Is it a little bit warm? Yep. A little bit of sweat. There you go. That's the best weather report you could ever get. You know, it's like that old joke with that rock. You know, the weather rock. If the rock is wet, it means it's raining. All that good stuff. All right, we'll change the graphic over to that's straight from pagasa.dost.gov.ph. Just putting up on the screen what they're putting out. Not trying to be a weatherman. But I think I like that graphic better. That's coming from PANAHON, Panahan.gov.ph. I think it's a pretty good graphic right there to leave up on the screen. Wait, where'd I go? Oh, there I am. All right, iLaugh's got some good information. Shout out to Harbor Freight, giving away a free bucket this weekend. Man, who couldn't use a free bucket? Need about 10 of them. All right, so folks, if you're just joining me, I want to thank you very much for tuning in. Basically just looking at the track according to all this open source reporting. I'm not making this up. I'm not interpreting anything. Why? Because I'm not a weatherman. I'm not a meteorologist. Don't let the uniform fool you. But according to all the models that I've looked at, they have this storm tracking north of the Philippines. The bottom outer bands possibly going to hit northern Luzon. We'll probably have some wind and rain. But according to all the models, this thing is going to track north, somewhere north of Taipei, north of Taiwan, somewhere up in that general direction. And it seems like everybody's pretty much in agreement of that. So you know as much as I know. This is a informal weather report, but I can guarantee you that my weather report is 100% accurate if you want to know what the weather is like here on Subic Bay. Boom. There's your weather report. You look at them trees, light breeze, skies are partly cloudy. It's warm, it's a gorgeous day. There you go, guaranteed that weather report is accurate. No computers needed other than broadcasting that live feed. I think Janice brought us a bucket. We got a bucket in there so we can put the rice in. But man, I need about 20 good buckets, good food grade buckets. See, I laugh. Thank you very much, my friend, for tuning in, bringing the politics into the weather report. Don't know nothing about that. Massa Blasta, are you using the storm threat as another excuse not to pick up Big Pumpkin's new washing machine? Man, I'm pulling all the reasons that I can conjure up about not buying that new washing machine. Man, is that washing machine gonna run up my light bill? That's the biggest thing that I can't just be comfortable with. I think that's the word. If that washing machine was not going to run up my light bill, I would be comfortable with it. But my light bill went from 21 US dollars up to 39 US dollars. And if I add that washing machine, I'm gonna be creeping up on 50. Ooh, man, that's what I can't be comfortable with is my light bill. So anyhow, she still won that washing machine. Hits me about it every day. One of you fine folks did bring up a good point, though. Don't buy a small one. If we buy a small one, she's going to have to run 2-3 loads a day, more electricity. Just get a big one, one load, one and done. Because I was going to get the real small size. They got these little tabletop washing machines that'll wash like 2 t-shirts at a time. I was going to get her one of those, sort of as a joke. You know, make her use that for like 2 or 3 months. Just to listen to her gripe. I'd be entertained. Yeah, she's got a washboard. She's got a washboard out there already. 2 plastic tubs, a little plastic stool. She washes our clothes every day. But a lot of you fine folks out there seem to think she needs a washing machine, and it is in the planning. Some of y'all hit me up about buying that bike, but the bike was a done deal about a month ago. Let's see, Anthony, how you doing? Saying a small prayer, thank you very much. I think on this particular storm, if we believe the computer models and the weathermen out there, I think we're all going to be okay with this one. Who knows what the next one will bring, but hopefully this one's going to take that right turn and we just get a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind here up on Luzon, the northern part of Luzon. Yeah, that'd be fine with me. Instead of the Maytag or the Whirlpool. All right, so let me check and see. Got to put my old man glasses back on, or as my friend said, the old lady's glasses. Hey, I sent them out. I said, hey, my glasses are broken. I can't see. Go out, give me some glasses. This is what the ladies come back with. They work, no problem. Nope, still showing the issued at 11 p.m. We're still looking at the advisory that's 12 hours old. So give them a few more minutes over at Pagasa, and then we will evaluate the latest advisory from the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration. Glad they shortened that to Pagasa. All-in-one washer-dryer combo. Yeah, people don't use dryers over here. Electricity is so expensive as it is. Nobody really uses a dryer. Now look, admittedly, in the rainy season, you'd love to have a dryer, but you're not going to love that electric bill once it comes in. When we can't get the clothes to dry, I just have to break down, take them up to the laundry. And during the rainy season, you know, that happens. When it's not rainy season, no reason to take them to the laundry. Okay. Let's take another look at the windy, see if we got any change over here. All right, and as somebody brought up earlier, said, you know, all these models aren't current, or they're, I don't know how much lag time. You know, they say the live, whatever, the live view or what have you. Who knows how much lag time is on these things, how they're taking the data and processing it. I don't know. You know who does know? A meteorologist, not old single dad. I just look at this right here the same. You probably look at it and say, damn, that's a big old storm right there. Hope that thing don't keep coming to the left. That's all I know. Yeah, these are probably $1 for these glasses if I had to guess. They probably got them up there in town for 50 pesos, 60 pesos. I don't care. They work. I'm not trying to impress nobody when I'm trying to see this dang old computer screen. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to see the computer screen. Alright, so let me go around the horn. Make sure all my technical equipment is still working. Looks like I'm still up on Twitch. One of y'all said that's an old platform. Maybe it is, but you know what? The video quality on Twitch is outstanding. I got no problem. It's not degraded. It's not pixelated. The video quality broadcasting from Twitch is great. Outstanding. Much better than Zuckerberg's Instagram or Facebook. So if you're on Twitch watching, thank you very much. Got 15 followers now. You know what? Let me refresh. Maybe I picked up one more. How many I got now? Boom! Got 16. 16 followers over on Twitch. Thank y'all very much. Because I'm making the assumption that mostly younger folks over on Twitch, I need to start focusing on trying to get some more younger viewers. And you know what? Let's see. Bear with me just a moment. Trying to see if the new advisory from Pagasa is up there yet. Nope. Give him a few more minutes. And then let me just go to the news. See if there's any recent news coming out of the Philippines News Agency. Okay, so here's, this is a recent article from this morning. The Habagat and Easterlies to dampen parts of the Philippines. Okay, several parts of the country will experience rain on Tuesday due to the southwest monsoon, the Habagat, and the Easterlies, the State Weather Bureau said. The Habagat will bring scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over Zamboanga Peninsula, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, the BARMM. Man, there was too many acronyms there. Anyhow, there's going to be some rain due to this Habagat. The Easterlies, meanwhile, will bring isolated rain showers or thunderstorms to Cagayan Valley and Aurora. The rest of the country will also experience isolated rain showers or thunderstorms due to localized thunderstorms, with severe storms possibly causing flash floods. That's a lot of storms. I think they're just trying to say it might rain today. Okay, so really nothing news right there. Again, you want to see the accurate weather report here in Subic. There you go right there. That's the accurate 100% weather that's going on overlooking Subic Bay right now. Looks like, let me evaluate my trees. Yep, looks like the winds have picked up. As you can see, movement in the trees. I would say what, maybe 3-4 kilometer per hour. Wind gusts up to 5. Got moderate cloud cover. I'm looking at my old lady's laundry. It's dry as a bone, so it's 0 rain. And then let's take a look the other direction. Looks like the goats are still chilling in the background, if you can see them there. That chicken doesn't seem to be in any distress. So due to all those factors, it looks like here in Subic, yeah, I see them, that goat just chilling. I think myself, the viewer, and wildlife are all in agreement. We got great weather here overlooking the beautiful Subic Bay. Another indicator about the rain here is all these tin roofs. If it starts raining like half a click that way, you'll start to hear it before. You don't need to see it. You'll hear it from the rain hitting the tin roofs. And how loud it is, you can tell how much rain is coming. The tin roofs are a great indicator that rain is coming your way. Simple technology that don't lie. Damn, I'm out of water. But I come prepared. I got big pumpkins, this expensive cup that I bought her at Walmart's. It's on clearance. This thing is a champion, but she's already broke the straw. I mean, you put your ice in this thing and stay all night long. It's a knockoff Yeti cup. Coming out of Walmart's in Great Falls. I brought back like a suitcase full of these type mugs and cups, water bottles. They all got destroyed except for that one and that Zulu. Alright, Mike Escape is reporting it's raining in southern Negros right now. So getting a little rain down there, and I think we'll probably get a little bit of sprinkling rain here in the afternoon. Let me check again to see if they've updated the bulletin. Nope. Still waiting. Supposed to be at 11. I'm still seeing the one from 11 p.m. We'll pull out some more open source news. Super Typhoon Bavi news. Okay, so I got an article here from 2 hours ago. Talking about just government preparations, not really news there, just typical preparations just in case. 6 hours ago from the Inquirer.net. Evacuations ordered and prep for Bavi. Not sure where they're telling folks to evacuate from. That's the title of the article. At present, it is not affecting any part of the country. However, in the coming days, most likely during the second half of the week, we expect Typhoon Bavi and the southwest monsoon, the Habagat, to affect various parts of the country. According to Pagasa weather specialist Grace Castaneda Carpio. Pagasa is expected to raise tropical cyclone wind signals up to signal 3, even though it's not forecast to make landfall anywhere in the country. Okay, let's see. Castro said the president has directed the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council and all concerned agencies to activate a whole of government response ahead of Bavi's entry into the Philippines area of responsibility. Okay, so again, this is coming from the article, but they're quoting Pagasa, the weather specialist there. If its track shifts farther south, we also cannot rule out the possibility of raising wind signals over the eastern sections of southern Luzon and the Visayas, possibly as early as Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. However, based on current forecasts, that scenario remains less likely, said Castaneda Carpio, weather specialist at Pagasa. Okay, how does these signals affect you as the tourist or the traveler? Okay, look, if you're island hopping somewhere, and I'm just talking in general, all right, let me just talk in general, right? Folks don't think about. Let's see, Tennessee Lee, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Okay, when they talk about signals, you know, basically warning signals, there's different protocols that take place. Okay, now that's, let me refresh that right there. I want to keep it refreshed. Now look, I'm just talking in general terms. But when certain signals or certain conditions are met, guess what stops? The ferries. All right, the ferries can't operate after certain conditions are met. The Coast Guard, the government won't let them operate. So you think, this storm is, you know, way up there, what have you. Well, if you're island hopping, you know, in a scenario where a storm is coming, and certain signals get raised, the ferries will stop running, which means, you know, you'll get stranded temporarily on an island, or you won't get to your island until the ferries go back to running. So that's a scenario where if you're vacationing here, island hopping, you want to pay attention to the storms, not because they're going to cause a lot of damage, or not because it's going to cause any destruction, but once the wind gets up to a certain point, they'll stop letting the ferries operate out of safety. And that's one of the big reasons why you should keep an eye on these storms, in addition to your own safety. Does that make sense? If the storm is not anywhere near you, but there's winds coming up, at some point they'll shut down the ferry traffic. I've had that happen. And this is what I did, and I'm going to tell on myself, and I do not recommend it. Okay? Let me keep it general here, so I don't get anybody in trouble. We were trying to get to an island. The Coast Guard shut down the ferries, the roll-on, roll-off ferries. Some pump boats to the side of the port were gonna roll. We elected to jump on the pump boat and run the gauntlet. And it was a rough ride. It was a scary ride, and I don't recommend anybody take that route. The pump boat should not have tried to make the run, but it did, and my dumb ass and my girlfriend were on there, and we were wishing that we weren't on the boat. Everybody on the boat that elected to take that ride wished that they had not taken that ride. So if they shut down the ferries, it's for a reason. It's for your safety. And I don't recommend you try to go around it. If somebody says, hey, we're going that way, you know, jump on the pump boat for 100 pesos. Nope. There you go. Food for thought if you're island hopping or, backpacking around, what have you. back to your comments. It's probably a little bit rambling, but I don't have a script here. There's no script. I never write a script. I couldn't bring myself to write any type of script. Hey Felton, how you doing? Now, we're not in the path. As long as this thing cuts north, like all the meteorologists say it's going to do, I should just get a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind. I don't even think that we'll lose power or anything like that. I think we're going to be perfectly okay. That's what I believe, I hope. A little speculation. But in the same sense, we're prepared in case it does come this way. So thank you very much for your concern, my friend. Let's see, Pug Hansford checking in from West Virginia. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well there. Kuya Steve. Yeah, exactly. Wind means waves. You learn that if you have a boat and you're out on the ocean. I learned that in Miami. When I had the one muff diver, wind means waves. Number two, the ocean can go from glass to treacherous in a matter of minutes. So again, if the authorities, shut down the bigger ferries, don't jump on a pump boat that's going that way. It's not in your best interest. But got to tell on myself. Made a bad decision. Won't do it again. Let's see, Eddie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. See if I can pull up some more articles here. I'm waiting for the updated Pagasa bulletin, and once we go over that, I'll probably call this stream good. But every day I'll fire up the stream until this thing rolls through. Not expecting any fireworks or anything like that. I'm expecting quite the opposite. Just a little bit of wind or rain. But a lot of folks who are not here, if I were sitting in the States and I saw this, I would have a lot of concern for Big Pumpkin and the kids. Holy crap, there's a huge storm coming this way. I would be concerned too. And that's another reason I like doing these streams during the storm, so you can gauge for yourself. If I point a camera out the window, and your grandma's living anywhere near Subic Bay, you can look out the window and say, wait a minute, ain't nothing going on there. Or you can look out the window and say, holy crap, it's raining cats and dogs there. You can judge for yourself versus looking at these models, which aren't always exactly what the ground conditions are. Okay, let's see. Again, once it enters the Philippine area of responsibility, it will be called Inday. Between Tuesday evening and early Wednesday. So basically tonight, this thing should enter the Philippines area of responsibility. About 2,000 kilometers east of southeastern Luzon as of 11 p.m. last night. It was packing maximum sustained winds of 205 kilometers per hour near the center, gusts up to 250 kilometers per hour, moving west by northwest at 25 kilometers per hour. And again, Pagasa is not ruling out the possibility of raising wind signals over the eastern portions of southern Luzon and Visayas. They're not ruling that out. So it's, what's that, 50-50. They may not. Okay, according to this article quoting Pagasa, is expected to gradually weaken as it moves near the extreme northern Luzon while approaching eastern Taiwan, although it is forecast to remain a super typhoon upon entering the Philippine area of responsibility. Yeah, folks, if you're just joining us, I know people check in, check out at different times. We're broadcasting from near Subic Bay. The weather here is fine. Nothing's going on here. You want to see the current weather conditions? There you go, right there. There's the weather. Looking out my window, it's a partly cloudy day. Winds are like 1 kilometer per hour, gusts up to maybe 3. It's a beautiful, warm, sunny day. I wish I was over at the beach right now as we speak. So nothing going on here. You see the trees moving a little bit more. Some clouds rolling in. Maybe we get some rain this afternoon. But right now, the old lady's laundry is still on the line. Another one of my sophisticated weather instruments that I use. As long as her clothes are hanging on the clothesline, it's not raining. If I see Big Pumpkin running in a sprint out and grabbing the clothes off of the line, then I know that it's raining 100%. But right now, nope, the clothes are out there, not a drop of rain on them, so it's not raining here. There you go. There's your current condition weather report, 100% accurate here, just off of Subic Bay here in the Philippines. Okay? And again, you can see the text across the bottom of the screen. I'm not a meteorologist, if y'all haven't figured that out. Again, don't let my uniform fool you. I know it can be confusing. All right, and back to our graphic there. And always keep refreshing this screen. Let's make sure. Some of them like have a date at the bottom. I had the wrong date in there. There we go, right there. And again, the source I'm getting this from is panahan.gov.ph. I don't even know what that stands for. I somehow got it from Pagasa. Stumbled onto this somehow, I don't know, but it's a government site. This is from Pagasa right here, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration. Let's put that graphic up there to see what they're showing. And again, still tracking to the north. Going to take a right turn about where? About right in there. Going to start hooking that right turn. Going to make a hard right. At least that's what we're hoping for. Where'd I go? There I am right there. Look at that. Technology. See, Big Daddy, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, Kuya Steve says, if Undi's on the line, it's fine. Yep, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't got to leave my chair. I don't got to leave my chair to give you a great weather report. But the old lady taking off running, usually you'll hear her say something like, oh, she's going to say something. Then you're going to hear the door slam. Then you're going to hear her running, laughing, because she don't like to get wet. I don't know what it is. The Filipinos, they don't want to get wet. Well, not like anybody does, but like Big Pumpkin thinks if you get wet, if a few drops of rain on her head, she's going to catch a cold. I think she just doesn't want to mess up her hair. But if it starts raining like 2-3 drops, she's running. And I'm like, you grew up walking to school like 5 kilometers there and 5 kilometers back during the rainy season, and you're scared of 2 or 3 raindrops? I don't get it. But that's what she does. Let's see, Big Daddy checking in from Las Vegas, Nevada. Tennessee Lee, got friends in Tegegarau City. I am worried for them. Usually get a lot of flooding. Now, Tegegarau is up on northern part of Luzon. And the reason I know that, because my buddy Pablo had a little pig farm up there back in the day. We went up to Tegegarau. Great video. I think we did a couple videos from up there. Anyhow, what a great adventure. We went up to Tegegarau and we left Angeles City. And when we got up there, it was so hot. This is my personal experience. I can just tell you my personal experience. It was like, man, it was so hot up there. And all the people up there said, yeah, Tegegarau is the hottest area of the Philippines. Now, that's what they told me. I do not know that for a fact. All I can tell you is that me, Big Pumpkin, and Helen of Troy left out of Angeles City on a bus. Well, yeah, it's hot. It's always hot in the Philippines. But when we got off up there in Tegegarau, it was like, I mean, it was hot. It was way hotter than Angeles City. And then that's what they said. They said this is the hottest region in the Philippines. I don't know if that's true. But yes, up there in Tegegarau, northern Luzon, they stand to get some rain. Just makes sense. If you're looking at that storm, it's going to hook. Okay, they're going to catch the bottom of it. I mean, we should catch some rain and wind, if I had to guess. But yeah, up there in the northern part, Tegegarau, they should probably get some rain off of this thing. Yeah, Diciembre. As long as you got a cooler full of red hot dogs. Ray, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Gotta keep checking Pagasa for that updated 11 o'clock weather report. And I'm still seeing the one from 11 p.m. Tropical cyclone advisory. So they still haven't got it out yet. Or if they have, maybe I'm clicking on the wrong one. You know, you sit here and you read these advisories, what all goes into them. I don't think I'd want to be a meteorologist. There's so much work that goes into it. There's so much guesswork and speculation and evaluating data. And if you're this much wrong, people are going to jump on you. What a tough job. And shout out to all the meteorologists and weathermen and weather ladies around the world. What a tough job. Everybody's watching you. You're trying to predict the unpredictable, and you know that if you make the wrong call, people are going to jump on you. And if you make the right call, nobody's going to pat you on the back and say, hey man, yeah, you said it was going to rain today. I told my old lady and she got her clothes in off the clothesline just in time. Thank you very much. No, nobody's going to take the time to tell you thanks. And I'll tell you what, you want to watch a really good documentary, it's on YouTube. I can't remember who did it, but about when Mount Pinatubo blew. But from the perspective of all of the, is it volcanologists? What is it? Geologists? Whoever else was involved. Volcanoologists. I don't know. But all those folks that were there trying to predict what Mount Pinatubo was going to do. Because the largest Air Force base, Clark Air Force Base, outside the continental U.S., Or was it the largest in the world? I know outside the U.S., Clark was the biggest, right? They had everybody breathing down, just pressure, wanting to know what this volcano was going to do because they had a whole base to evacuate. You talk about stress and pressure. Watch that documentary where those guys were trying to predict what the damn volcano was going to do, and you make the wrong call, you're going to lose credibility. So if you make the wrong call, they evacuate, they bring people back, and then it happens. What a great level of stress and pressure on all the folks involved in that. And then in the end, well, you know what? I won't tell you if they got it right or wrong. Just go watch the documentary. But a lot of stress on those folks to predict what a volcano is going to do. All right, let's check a different graphic here. Oh, wait a minute. I got some movement here. I got Big Pumpkin going out to check her laundry. Big Pumpkin. Is there any raining out there? Huh? All right, let me see. I don't know if you can see Big Pumpkin. All right, Big Pumpkin goes out and she's checking the line. Let me see if I can pan the camera down and show you Big Pumpkin checking the laundry. Baby, are you decent to be on the live stream? Here, hold on. Just stand right there. Stand right there. Hold on. Okay, so this is what happens here. Baby, go to the left a little bit. This is what happens here. Okay, so Big Pumpkin is checking the clothes, but there doesn't seem to be any rainfall. She's reporting 0 rainfall. Can sit back down here. If there were rainfall going on, she would be running, cursing, and all kind of stuff. But if you're just joining me, those are that's current weather conditions here in Silbic. A little bit of wind. The goats seem to be okay. I got my old lady in the back. She's not removing the laundry. If she was removing the laundry, that would tend to indicate heavy rain. But she's just shuffling the laundry. So that indicates no rain. That is a 100% scientific way for me to check the weather right there. If there's still clothes hanging on the fence, on the clothesline, it's not raining. Okay? Secondary to confirm this, I checked with my goats out here, and if the goats are still grazing, see if I can see the goats in the background. Man, I got to zoom in a little bit more. If there's no goats going crazy or running, there's no rain. Light rain, they don't do much. Heavy rain, they run for cover, usually underneath my carport. So there you go. All right. Back to technology. That's technology. But I just showed you 100% accurate ways to predict the weather. There you go. All right, and give me just a second. I'm going to point this thing back up at the trees, get the right angle on the dangle. Wait a minute, there might be some more action. Nope, she's disappeared. Hold on, let's see. Let's see one more time here. Nope, there she is. Big Pumpkin, are you detecting any raindrops out there? Huh? And it looks like she dressed up for the live stream. She fixed her hair for the live stream. Baby, I want to thank you very much for dressing up for my weather report live stream here. Man, I guess I should be a weatherman. I got the most accurate weather instruments, and they don't break down. what do you need to accurately predict the weather? Just need your old lady to put the clothes out on the line. You need some goats in the background, chickens, some cows. And just observe those instruments along with my trees. I can tell you everything you need to know about the weather. Baby, I got plenty of ice, but I got no water. Could you bring me some water? It's stressful being a weatherman. Here you go. Man, can't get no drink these days. I gotta go back to drinking. That's another reason why people drink beer. You put the beer to ice in the cooler, and now you just got unlimited hydration. There you go. Fill that thing up. There you go. Hold on, let's see Big Pumpkin here. There's Big Pumpkin. All dressed up. And see, got a cow in the background there. Oh. Got a cow in the background just chilling. It's calm weather conditions where I'm at. 100% guaranteed. I guarantee. If it was about to come a storm or a heavy rain, that cow would be heading for cover. They always do. Light rain, they chill. Heavy rain, they getting up under the trees over there for cover. All right, thank you very much, Big Pumpkin. Thank you very much for the tubing. Drinking some cold water. That's all I'm drinking right now. I need a cold beer. All right, so I missed your comments. Let me go back to the comments here. Okay, Brush Bandit, talking about their superstitions about getting rain in their hair. Yep, so many superstitions here. But Big Pumpkin does not like to get rain on her head. Okay, Tennessee Lee says Tuguegarao City is the hottest city in the Philippines. That's what the locals said while I was there. And I can tell you, it was hot. Significantly hotter than when I got on the bus in Angeles City. Let's see, Stay Humble, how you doing? Yeah, that's what I should do this weekend, just get the vid joking machine. Okay, I'm not sure how to say your screen name. STN Gwen, I'm having a heavy thunderstorm. All right, where you at? Yeah, when Mount Pinatubo blew, yeah, there was was it a typhoon or just a storm? It's a typhoon, right? Anyhow, it was like raining concrete. Put it in layman's terms. All that ash goes up into the air, and then here comes the storm, brought it back down. Man, I got so many stories from that I've heard from folks who were there during that event. Just interesting stories of what went down, their route, and between locals and foreigners. Just so many stories. I should write them all down. Yeah, you give Big Pumpkin a wireless mic and an umbrella and put her out there in the street, make her do some weather reporting. But I'll wait till it's really coming a good hard rain to send her out there. Let's see, Along Po checking in. I like Fatima's 80s look today. Yeah, Big Pumpkin ain't much on fashion. She's on more on comfort. She's all about the comfort. Yet he says if the cows are laying down, it's going to rain. It could. It could come light rain this afternoon, just like it did yesterday. But for some reason, like the cows, the goats, everybody's out there. When it starts coming a hard rain, they all run to the right. I mean, it's just like a stampede. All right, again, I'll check and see if we've got an update from Pagasa. Their updated report is supposed to be at 11. Nope, still a little bit late on that report. Let me check the news. Super Typhoon Bavi. Again, it had 215 kilometer per hour winds, ravaged the Mariana Islands. From what I heard, it went right over the top of Rota. I haven't really seen any updated articles about it. Again, a little bit early on this reporting. I always jump the gun on the videos or the live streams, whatever, but I want to get ahead of it. I want to get ahead of it because it's interesting as to what your perception of it, my perception, your perception of what's going to happen, and then you go through it, and I can look back on that first video and like there's nothing that I perceived that was going to happen. Usually that's what goes on. Yeah, we got all the animals in place. Now we just need an ark. Well, the ark is usually my carport. If I leave that gate open, all the animals come up under my carport and take cover. Now, it's not the only place they've got cover, but for some reason they really like my carport. I guess because it's dry. It is dry, obviously. Nice dry place to lay down. But like at night, we got some goats. Now they're not our goats; they're neighborhood goats. But the neighborhood goats, they sleep right outside the gate. If I open the gate, they would sleep inside the carport. They sleep right next to the gate at night. And it's always like, all these free-range goats, how do they know where their home is? Their owners have no idea where they're at. They just roam free in this little village that we're in. It's beautiful. It's not like Fatima's village where the goats are like up on top of you and jumping up on the cooking table. That's too tight quarters of the goats. The goats aren't living with us, but they are in the area. It's sort of like a petting zoo, but only in the public spaces. Does that make sense? Anyhow, it's beautiful. Maria's got 3 puppies she plays with every day, 3 kittens. There's baby goats everywhere. Got calves, baby calves over there. Being close to nature. But the old lady's village, that was like living with the goats. That was too close. I don't want a goat in my bedroom. Goat in the carport, if it's raining, okay. At night, the goat outside the gate, okay. I don't want a goat in my bedroom. Or on top of my cooking table. It's too close. All right, we'll put another model up here. Let's go back to Windy, refresh the screen, and take a look and see where we're at. So there you go right there. That's from Windy. Okay, again, over here is the Mariana Islands. See if I can zoom in. Where's the zoom? I don't see the zoom. Let's go to the next one. This is from AccuWeather. Now, you know what's sad? Yesterday I went to the Weather Channel, and it looks like a website from like 1998. What happened to the Weather Channel? Weather Channel just like went to the wayside. Okay, so here we go right here. This is another view. That's from AccuWeather here. Is that AccuWeather? Yeah. This is from AccuWeather. Got Manila over here. This is the Philippines here. Got Taiwan, Taipei. And here's your storm right here. Super Typhoon Bavi. Once it enters the Philippine area of responsibility, we're going to call it Super Typhoon Inday. This is from Zoom.Earth. That's their track right there. I don't know where they're getting the track from. Maybe they're just pulling it off of somebody else's track. Who knows? But every track that I pull up are pretty much the same. They show the storm heading north of Taipei, at least the eye of the storm. But being that it's a pretty big storm, you know, we're probably going to get some rain over here. Rain and winds. Okay, that's from Panahon, panahon.gov.ph. I think my top bar up there is covering up the URLs. You can't see them. But that's the graphic right there. Pretty good graphic, right? We were just talking about Tuguegarao. There's Tuguegarao up there. And we're sitting down here on the beautiful Subic Bay. All right, this is from Pagasa's website. And that's pagasa.dost.gov.ph. Put their track on there. Show what the government's putting out. Again, their track looks like it might be a little bit closer to Taipei. But all the models are just a little bit of fluctuation in that area. But I think that's my favorite graphic right there to keep up on the screen. You know what I'm glad that I'm sitting here staring at a weather graphic versus the Strait of Hormuz. Oh my gosh, I think we all got tired of staring at that website, looking at the Strait of Hormuz. My goodness. Okay, so Brush Bandit's reporting that the storm got Guam pretty good, at least power outage wise. Okay. Now, I didn't hear of any reports of anybody dying during the storm. I don't know if that still holds true, but like the initial reporting was, you know, obviously property damage and utilities down, but nobody got killed, which is always a good thing. I don't know if that still holds true, but that was the initial reports I heard. Eddie says the cows rest before the storm. Even cows don't like sleeping in the mud, so they sleep standing up. Well, them cows out there were laid down yesterday too. Like yesterday afternoon, they all, the cows were laying down, and the calves, they were out there playing like kids, messing around. But yeah, got plenty of wildlife to help me determine what's going on here with the weather. Okay, so it looks like we're still live on YouTube. 113 folks watching now. I want to thank y'all very much for hanging out, tuning in. Let me know what you think about the changes to the studio here. I took down the foam blocks that were on the wall. A little bit more of the beautiful wood desk here shown. A little bit not so tight, you know what I mean? A little bit zoomed out look here. And the main thing is, after you've listened to this for a while, how does the audio sound with this microphone? Is the level too low, too high? Is it distorted? Let me know about the audio. Usually this microphone here, the level is just too low, but it drowns out most of the background noise where my other microphones are designed to pick it up. So I'm trying to go with this to give a better audio experience, especially when the kids are here. They're so noisy. If dogs start barking or roosters start crowing, just trying to drown out some of that noise. So feel free to let me know how my little studio is doing here. And one of y'all brought up a good point. You know, we can hang up some blankets to help out with the sound. So I'm thinking about just hanging up a blanket or something on the wall back there, change up the white background. Yeah, Tennessee Lee, looks like Taiwan is in trouble. Yeah, I mean, if you look at that track, it's, you know, Taipei's on the northern part of the island, so it looks like Taipei they need to be ready. It's going right over a major city right there. Okay, looks more real. I like the room and the audio is perfect, no feedback. All right, thank you very much. Yeah, I could put a picture on the wall of Mona Lisa. Or you know what I could do? I could put a big, huge picture of Big Pumpkin, like laid down at the beach in a bikini, like a life-size picture above me. That'd be awesome. All right, so Brush Bandit says the audio sounds fine on the TV. All right, well, thank you very much. Like I said, the times I've used this before, the audio was so low you could barely hear me. But I went into that dang old EQ and started pushing some buttons. And again, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing on the sound, the EQ. I just hope it's loud enough you can hear me. Let's see, thank you very much. Sounds fine, but the wall needs something. Yeah, it needs something up there. Most everybody who builds out these home YouTube studios, you know, they look the same. You got to have a light or a candle in the background. You got to have a neon light up here. You got to have this. It's just mostly the same elements. I just never spend too much money on a home studio when I think you'd rather probably me just go out there and sit with the camera with the cows in the background. It's a much better background. It's real. You got movement. You got other things going on. But when it's about to come a storm, you can't take all this equipment out there. You know, the wind's going to blow in and ruin everything. Too much rain. All right. Well, thank you very much, Tennessee Lee. Yeah, folks, I quit. I didn't do any more reporting on the Iran situation. It just got too discombobulated. I'm sort of off topic here, talking about CNN. That thing just got so unclear. I'm sitting back waiting. You know, maybe in a couple weeks or so, we do one video, one live stream to discuss what has went on over there in the current state of affairs. Call you Steve. We need a poll on Fatima or Grandma. Let me scroll back up. Fatima or Grandma. Let's see what's the poll on? Let's see. Who can eat more rice, Fatima or Grandma? Fatima, 100%. Hello, Guapo. How you doing? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Boom! McMiller coming off the top ropes. Here we go. Put you on the broadcast here. Let's see, mate. What is the deal with you? You sound like old. You're 50 years old and you're trying to tell the world you are old. To call you old lady, old lady. Mate, I'm 66 and my dad called mom old lady. Well, let's see. Sound like I'm old. Well, I'm a 53-year-old pirate. I don't consider myself old, even though a lot of other people do. So I gave myself the nickname Old Single Dad. Now, old lady, that's just the way we talk. I'm a redneck. So in redneck slang, rednecks, we have our own culture, subculture, our own language. Saying my old lady, that just means my girlfriend or my wife. It doesn't mean anything that she's old as in 80 years old. It's not derogatory. It doesn't mean anything bad. It's just the way we talk. That's my old lady. Hey, let me introduce you to my old lady. Man, I got the best old lady in the world. That's how we talk. That's how I grew up. A lot of people over the years sort of take offense to it. It's because you don't understand. Is it raining? Hold on, folks. Stop the presses. Hold on a second. Is it raining? It's not raining. Okay, I'm back. Big Pumpkin want to know if it was raining. It's not raining. Okay, hold on. She's reporting rain on the mountain. There might be rain over there, over the right of the mountain. Could be getting some rain here in the mountains overlooking Subic Bay. I'll let y'all decide for yourself. Big Pumpkin is back there on standby. She's still shuffling the clothes, but she's looking at the mountain saying there might be some precipitation over the mountains. But she's still hanging clothes. Anyhow, the weather report here, overlooking Subic Bay. Maybe there's a little rain over that mountain. I don't know. Maybe a false alarm from Big Pumpkin. Okay, anyhow, back to your comment. Let me pull the comment back up. Let's see, go back to the comment. Let's see. Put it back on the screen there. Yeah, old lady. That's just the way we talk, man. It's the way I talk, the way I grew up. This is my old lady. But nah, sound like I'm old. Anyhow, thanks for the comment. A lot of people hit me up on that through the years, thinking it's being mean to her. That's just the way we talk. Let's see. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, my friend? Lived here 15 years, and they go north. There you go. Again, living over here on this side or living in Angeles City, you're not really worried with the destruction of storms like you are down in other places. Down at her village, Leyte, Samar, anywhere over there on the east side of the PI where the storm hits first. You know, it's different than living over here. I agree with him. He says, lived here 15 years and they all go north. The years that we've been living up here on Luzon and various places, it just rains. Yeah, it just rains. The streets flood a little bit. The rains subside. It's sort of the same way living in Pattaya. You just deal with some rain. The rain subsides. There's not the destruction that you see in other places. Let's see. Hey, we got the quiet fish. Green screen, you can put a fake outer space fantasy adventure behind you. You know, when we lived in that greenhouse down in her hometown, the whole house was green. It was like a huge green screen. And I messed around with a couple things, a couple of videos. I was using the walls of the house as a green screen. California Swede, how you doing, my friend? Got OC on station. I think I should put a picture of Big Pumpkin on the wall. You know, like laid down, like Rose on the Titanic. I'll tell you all a secret, but she's not going to let me show it to you. Okay? Back when she was pregnant, I drew a picture of her the same way that Jack drew a picture of Rose on the Titanic. She still got it. She ain't gonna let me show it to you though. But I did it. I mean, it's a masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece. So it's either Big Pumpkin or a poster of Bruce Lee. I have to think about it. Let's see, Georgia on station. DBA Videos, how you doing? Yeah, Southern American culture is lost on a lot of people. Nah, Typhoon not gonna hit Subic Bay. Benito, how you doing? Checking in from Texas. Yeah, Kuya Steve, on the protected side. Part of the reason Subic is Subic. There you go. Yeah, there's the front, there's the back, water all around. What else you need to know? Just explain boats to you. What movie was that from? If you're just joining me, folks, what we're doing is taking a look, an informal look here at Super Typhoon Bavi. And once it enters the Philippines area of responsibility, they plan to call it Inday. That will be the local name. You have an international name, and then when it comes here, they give it a local name. This storm just raked over the northern Marianas Islands. And that's your projected path right there, which puts it, the eye, somewhere just north of Taipei. There's Taiwan, Taipei. So all the models are projecting that this thing takes a right turn, heads north, does not make landfall here in the Philippines. I think, northern Luzon, what they're reporting, we're going to get some rain and wind. But I'm just speculating and repeating what the experts are saying, because I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not a weatherman. I just play one here on YouTube. We're waiting. The only thing I'm waiting on this stream is Pagasa is supposed to put out a new advisory. Okay, and we just got it. So let me put the fresh advisory up. They put it out at 11 o'clock every morning. That's what they're saying. So let me, bear with me just a second. I'll let y'all look at Subic Bay weather while I pull this up. And we'll put that up on the screen. Make that a little bit bigger there. What you're looking at on the screen while I'm getting this pulled up, that's the mountains overlooking Subic Bay. Okay, so let's go here to, this is the latest tropical cyclone advisory from Pagasa. Okay, let's just go over it right quick. Make sure everything's good. Yep. So this is the Tropical Cyclone Advisory number 3 of Super Typhoon Bavi. It was just issued. Today's July 7th. So it just came out fresh, hot off the press. It's valid until 11 p.m. today. So they'll put another one out tonight. Super Typhoon Bavi slightly weakens as it continues to move west-northwestward outside the Philippine area of responsibility. Based on all available data, it's 1,845 kilometers east of central Luzon. There's your coordinates. Maximum sustained winds of 185 kilometers per hour near the center. Gusts of up to 230 kilometers per hour. Moving west northwestward at 20 kilometers per hour. Strong to typhoon force winds extend outwards up to 800 kilometers from the center. Okay, so it's a big storm. 800 kilometers out, we still got typhoon force winds. Okay, let me scroll on down here. Okay, here's our track and intensity forecast. Okay, so for the next 24 hours, moving about 25 kilometers per hour. And then, okay, if I interpret this right, let's see, July 9th. What's that? Today's the 7th, 8th. So by Thursday, now correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just trying to interpret this like anybody else. 8 p.m. on Thursday, so today's Tuesday, it gets downgraded to a typhoon. Is that correct? That looks like super typhoon, and that's typhoon, right? And it'll be about 670 clicks east of Batanes up there, the islands north of Luzon. Okay, so there you go. That's the latest from Pagasa, just issued a few minutes ago. So let's look down here, general outlook for the forecast period. Okay, despite the low chance of landfall over any parts of Luzon, considering the intensity and the extent of the strong winds from the center of Super Typhoon Bavi, wind signals may be raised over the northern and eastern portions of northern Luzon, earliest by this evening or tomorrow morning. And again, it's Tuesday at noon here. The highest wind signal that may be hoisted during its passage is likely a signal 2 or 3. Due to the uncertainty in terms of radius of strong winds, The possibility of raising wind signals over the eastern portions of southern Luzon and Visayas is not ruled out. The enhanced southwest monsoon and the periphery of Super Typhoon Bavi will bring strong to gale force gusts over the following areas. Okay, today most of Mindanao. I know somebody was talking about Mindanao earlier. Let's see, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the 8th of July, you got everything from Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas. And then Thursday, most of the country. Okay, so here we go. When we're talking about if you're island hopping or rolling around and backpacking around. Gale force or a gale warning associated with rough to very rough sea conditions will be issued by tomorrow, 8 July, over the northern and eastern seaboards of the Philippines. All right, so just keep an eye on the weather. Obviously, if you're traveling around, because if the weather gets to a certain point, they shut the ferries down for safety. You don't got to be Captain Obvious to figure that out. But if you're not thinking, you're just like, oh, our hotel in Cebu is here. We're going to be on this island here. You got to watch the weather, because if they shut down the ferries, you're going to get stuck somewhere until the storm passes and they go back to allowing the ferries to run. And it's for your safety. Okay, let's see, do I use the app Windy? I don't. My buddy told me about it. He used to use it all the time. Folks, this cell phone, I don't even want to carry this cell phone. Only time I carry it is when I have to. So I don't use a lot of apps unless it's absolutely necessary for like I use the app to remotely control this camera just so I can lock the focus when I'm over here. But yeah, my buddy, he uses that Windy app all the time. He's the one who told me about it. And they got a great graphic on the website. Boom! Guapong Bacalao. Thank you very much. Coming off the top ropes of the octagon here. Let me add that to broadcast. Thank you very much, my friend. I certainly appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so folks, let me just go over some stats and then I'll proceed to shut the stream down. First of all, I want to thank y'all for joining me. Just informal talk about the weather, what's coming this way, where's it going, is your flight going to be delayed, are the ferries temporarily going to be, paused due to rough weather? Let me check the stats. So we've been live for, 208 minutes. Why don't they put hours and minutes? I got to change that. Let me go to the stats. Got 200 thumbs ups, 200 likes. Thank you very much. That really helps out with the Google squirrels inside the computer, turning knobs, deciding whether or not they show my videos on my live streams. So I certainly appreciate that. Let's see, can I do a video on health insurance? That's a question I get asked a lot, and I don't know a lot about it here in the Philippines. I know more about insurance in Thailand than I do here. So maybe I'll try to do some research or swing by an agency and make friends. And it's something that people ask me about a lot. I don't know enough about it to talk about it. I could do one on Thailand, but obviously we're not in Thailand. So I'll see if I can't do some research and come up with some current facts and prices and rates and policies. Okay, yeah, so as I close things out, you know, all I can tell you is that the weather here on Subic Bay, it's just a gorgeous day. I'll, I'll put it up on the screen one more time. There's my weather right there. Just cloudy, light breeze. Wish I was at the beach right now, chilling, but I'm not. Let's see, there's looking the other way. Don't got any wildlife in the background right now, but just calm conditions here. So all I can do is assert the conditions on the ground here in Subic. Just a beautiful day. Probably get some showers this afternoon if I had to guess. Is the storm going to hit the PI? According to everybody and every weatherman, it's going to track north towards the northern, just north of Taiwan. All right, but it's a big storm with a lot of outer bands. There you go. So let me go around the horn before I shut her down. Again, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Certainly appreciate you. I just want to check my technology before I shut it down. So it looks like I'm still broadcasting on Twitch. Let me refresh my screen on Twitch to see if I picked up any new followers. Got 16 followers on Twitch. I think probably the majority of y'all are younger, of the younger generation. Thank you very much. Certainly appreciate it. See if I'm still live on the old that Facebook. Looks like I am. Says live. Instagram timed me out, so I'm not over there. Okay, I'll check the last few comments, and then I'm gonna have to get back in the game here. Let's see, traveler's insurance. Yeah, it's a good topic to do some research on. I'll see if I can't stop by somewhere here in the near future and come up with some current facts. Got to keep the weather station on air. Well, you know what? Some people have suggested that, right? For example, okay, that's the weather station right there. You want to know what the weather's like? Again, all you got to do is look at the trees, look at the mountains, look at the sky, look at the clouds. I could theoretically just keep this stream live. But you know, I got bad luck. If I leave this equipment up live streaming, I mean, who knows? There might be two people climb to the top of that mountain, be doing the hibbity while I'm not here. Next thing you know, get banned on YouTube. Inappropriate stuff. I got bad luck like that. I can't take that risk. Come back to be two squirrels humping on the top of that fence, and then I got community violations. Y'all think I'm kidding, but I got bad luck like that. Yeah, so people have suggested leave it up, but I can't leave a stream up unattended due to my bad luck. Okay, folks. Oh, okay. Okay. Sometimes I miss things. Got to keep the weather station on air. Replying to someone saying I sponsor the weather. Hey, thank you very much, my friend. See, I took it out of context, and I thought you were saying keep the stream up. But other people have suggested keep the camera up that's pointing outside while you're doing the weather stuff. In a way, it makes sense, right? I keep the camera up. Anybody wants to dip in and see what the current weather conditions are? Okay. If I got to go get something to eat or take a nap, I just come back and leave the stream live. Anyhow. But you know what we found out on one stream is YouTube, when you go live, YouTube only will save the first 12 hours of a live stream. So if you go, unless they've changed it, you go live for 12 hours, it's going to save all that. But if you go live for 13 hours, it only saves the first 12. So anything over 12, it goes away. You can stay live as long as you want, but it's not going to record anything over 12. Does that make sense? So if something spectacular occurred, it would not be archived. Now the software is backing it up. I guess it doesn't matter, but YouTube is not saving anything over 12 hours. I'll have to go back and research to see if they changed that. Okay, last comment and I'm out of here. Let's see. Mike Miller says, mate, you are full of shit. At 5, I would hold in the Iowa winder as my old man would kick my ass if I dropped the rod. Mate, I live south too. My best buddy was Papa. All right. Yeah, if you keep that camera up, I'm sure it will end up being a damn disaster. That's why I'm not going to leave it live. I'm telling you, I got bad luck. Something would happen. Something would happen that would cause me some problems. I mean, something like this. I tell Big Pumpkin, hey, don't go out back because I got the camera live. Big Pumpkin, okay. Then she go out there and like change shirts in front of the camera, before I take a shower. She just wouldn't listen. Something like that would happen. So I can't leave the camera going. All right, there we go, folks. Again, that's what the current meteorologists say about this storm. It's going to track north. We should be okay here in the Philippines, but you never know. Are we putting too much trust in technology? I think we do most of the time. We're prepared. We're going to be fine sitting over here on the Subic Bay side. And I think the people who really need to be concerned are up there in China, especially those areas that have already been flooded out. Boom! Alabaster smidge off the top ropes of the octagon. Thank you very much, my friend. I certainly appreciate it. I certainly appreciate it, and I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think everybody likes to watch Big Pumpkin. Big Pumpkin is getting she's getting a little ornery these days. She's like an old mule, stubborn and ornery. But that's what makes her entertaining, I reckon. Yesterday, she said something about she was going to quit eating for a while. I said, why are you going to do that? I told her, I said, don't do that. Keep eating them ice creams. Because I like big and I cannot lie. I told her, don't you stop eating. Keep going, girl. You at 2 ice creams a day? Let's bump it up to 3. But Filipino ain't never went on no diet. Not never in the history have they ever went on a diet. What they say is, after they eat lunch, I'm diet. Like what? I'm diet. Until it's supper time. Then they go right back to eating. They ain't never went on no diet. Nor do I want her to. All right, folks. I'm out of here. I got to head on out of here. I want to thank y'all for joining me. We'll see y'all on the next one. I'll go live tomorrow and update you on any developments from this storm. Okay? Y'all have a good one. Just looking here one more time. Yeah, y'all have a good one and peace out, my friends. Let's see, finish in broadcast. All right, I'm out of here.